Well, and we are live. Hello. Welcome back, players and viewers alike. We are back for another week of D&D 5th edition. No, not really any huge announcements this week. We have, obviously, last week's VOD is up on the YouTubes. Exclamation point YT in the chat. We'll get that. You'll get that link. Nat 20s. Any Nat 20s rolled during tonight's game, make sure we get some Nat 20 spams in the chat. Obviously, if we can get to 35 subs, we get another emote, which will be a natural 1 emote. So if you are enjoying the show and you're wanting to support and you are able to sub, please do, so we can see if we can get to that 35 subs and get that next emote. But apart from that, we're all pretty good, I think. We got, unless anyone else has any important announcements to make before we get started. I mean, Het might want to announce his compass addiction. I mean, or the beaver addiction, which whatever works.
It's an addiction to both.
Righty ho, peoples. Without further ado, we will get into tonight's recap. Did someone say compass? I believe they did. Right, you guys, you found yourselves involved in a battle with a strange mist-like creature, as well as a couple of old crones in front of the bastion. Fiala summoned a young silver dragon to aid in the battle. Inari, the newest member of the group and envoy of the Emerald Enclave, showed why she is a valued asset and destroys one of the hags with a single round of attacks, dealing 75 points of damage with a critical strike and her hunter abilities. Fiala then summons a large tidal wave which knocks one of the crones completely prone, flat on her ass. The summoned drake then releases its breath weapon, dealing another torrent of damage. Inari then deals the killing blow to the mist-like entity at range with a barrage of arrows. Hail of Thorns striking her allies in the process. Sadiq then removed the final crone's head with a mighty blow, thus ending the combat in front of the bastion. You then proceeded into the main building, into the main area across the drawbridge. You found yourself in the main entrance of the bastion's main house. After a lot of discussion, Het cast Detect Magic, and you start to search the entry to a basement or a sub-basement type area. You do find, after a little bit of searching around in the back of the kitchen area, Inari also uses her ability to detect any undead, fiends and dragons and such within 1 mile of your current position, which she does indeed detect. Alessandros then accidentally triggers a trap on the basement door and is shot with a couple of crossbow bolts, taking a little bit of piercing damage. You then descend beneath the bastion, finding yourselves in a large, darkened corridor. Alessandros again moving forward, searching for traps, again triggering a magical trap. A wall of magical flame spews forth, which from the floors, the ceiling. Ali dives forward, taking a little bit of damage. Inari attempts to throw a water skin at the fire, only to spray Alessandros with some boiling water as the water skin is destroyed through the magical flames. Het then reaches through the flames in an attempt to aid Alessandros and burns himself quite severely, but releasing his breath weapon at the same time, dissipating the magical flame. Another Detect Magic spell reveals the magic trap to the group and reveals the magical aura around the door. Ali casts Mage Hand and proceeds to open the door. The group then takes, again, magical damage from magic missile spell that is triggered upon opening the door as another trap is revealed and triggered. You then enter into a large room and enter into conversation with Eric the Awesome, former headmaster of your guild, also a minion of Undeath, aka a vampire. He offers some information about Cass and a scroll with a history of Asmodeus and some information on the crawlers beneath the bastion's foundations. Then, after an exchange with Het, initiates combat. Sadiq charges into combat, dealing fire and radiant damage. Eric then bites Sadiq, and on a failed save is charmed. and is now enthralled by the vampire. Inari proves again why she's chosen by the Enclave with a massive barrage of damage. Hit then fires a Vix bolt at Eric, activating his Luke's critical power, dealing the final blow to Eric the Awesome. And with the death of Eric, the ghouls that were under his control fall unmoving and obviously under some form of control. The combat comes to an end, and you loot the area, the corpses, and don't really find a hell of a lot. But with the damage done to Eric, he's nothing but a pile of ash sitting in the room. And this is where we rejoin our heroes, the Lions of Valonde, episode 29, the Carrion Crypts. Welcome everybody. Obviously my name's Evldoa, and the party of heroes is the Lions of Valonde, members of the Black Lion Adventurers Guild, have now defeated another vampire in the Bastion of Ek in search of some magical items to aid them in their potential battles in the coming months against Kosis and Catacombs, and potentially a Prince of Hell. So guys, you find yourselves still in that large room, the corpses of the ghouls laying at your feet, the ashes of Catacombs to one side, a table with a dead orc, a coffin on the other side of the room, a large chair, and a rather large hole in the back left of the room, with a large with a kind of a decaying corpse of what once was a carrion crawler. What are you doing?
Anyone got any spare heals, maybe?
I think it might actually be worthwhile to camp here for a little.
Ellie, I can throw you a heals if need be. I don't know about camping, Sadiq. I feel like this would be an unwise place to camp with a hole in the floor that could be attacked at any time.
True, but I think we're all pretty damaged, right?
Well, I have enough heals to go around. I'll hit casts healing word on both Ellie and Sadiq, who will do the dice roll now. Healing its second.
So, Hit, you're going to cast a healing spell?
Yes, on both Sadiq and Alessandros.
Okay, roll for your heals. Your microphone's really kind of weird tonight, dude.
Not sure what's going on there. We'll check it out
Yeah, mate.
shortly after. I'll roll these first. 12 for Sadiq. And 8 for Ali.
So you both receive some healing power from your the cleric of your group.
Thank you, thank you.
So with that, yes, more discussion from you guys on what you're going to do. You're going to proceed. You're going to maybe rest up, move back into the main house potentially.
A short rest is only in an hour, isn't it?
Short rest is an hour, which you are able to use hit dice to recover HP. You do not recover any spell slots unless the spell specifically states that you do recover that on a short rest. But yeah, the short rest is an hour.
That is probably a better way to go.
Yeah, I say we just take a little rest, recoup. During that time period, we can actually work out what we want.
Yep.
Agreed.
Seconded. here.
Do we have a third?
Good, I think we're all in.
So whereabouts are you going to rest, guys? You're going to rest where you are, or are you going to move back into the main house, or what?
I'll
What
go
are we
back
doing?
to the main house, actually.
Sensible position, I guess, somewhere in the house.
What's the decision, guys?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Maybe agree. Pull back into the house a bit. I think you were right. Inari and Ali, I think it would be safest.
So, with that decision being made, you retreat back through the long, darkened corridor, back up to the kitchen of the main house. You find yourself a position, whether it's on the main landing in the kitchen dining hall, whichever you prefer. I'm assuming you would secure the front door as best you can, and you take some time to rest and tend to your wounds. Those that want to use hit die, you can use up to your maximum amount of hit dice to recover HP. So basically you check whatever your hit dice is. It'll tell you when you manage HP, it'll tell you how many hit dice you have to use. You can use any amount of those hit dice.
If you hit short rest, it comes up automatically.
Oh,
You can
okay.
actually tick it off how many you want to use.
Well, there you go then. On D&D Beyond, the wonderful website that we use for all our stuff is... I love that site, it's awesome. So you take your short rest. In that hour, is there anything that you guys wanted to achieve in the hour? Anything that anyone wants to talk about, or any such thing?
I'm going to have a conversation with Head about this new deity or
Okay, go ahead.
whatever it is.
Converse away.
Head, this new god of yours, who is he? Have you done any research?
Uh-oh.
Might be working on his mic.
I think we lost Het.
And Head ignores me. And I shrug off and
Oh no!
I would say.
No, yeah, we lost your microphone, dude. We'll get him back. Technological difficulties, people. We'll get him. We'll get him back.
Gonna have to speak to somebody else, I think.
We'll bide our time for a moment. We'll come back.
I'm not getting hit points back. Why?
There we go.
it's you're a bit distorted, but you're there at least.
Excellent. Sorry, as I was saying,
Oh well, that is pretty distorted, isn't it?
I'm not sure what's happening. I've done nothing.
No, Windows had an update. It's probably Windows.
For a moment.
Yeah, bear with us, guys. Just don't go into your Windows settings on your microphone. And let's check some stuff.
So I look at Pekka and I say, so what's the deal with Head's God?
Nice.
I don't know. That's why I'm wondering.
Okay,
I know this Steel Lady seems to be pretty nice and everything, but this other god's got me a little bit confused. Like, doesn't seem to be. I don't know.
Well, I was remembering when that Mordan fellow was talking about making a deal with a god, and it overtook him. And I'm kind of a little worried about that.
Oh, yes, that's right. Good remembering.
Yes,
Fiala, take
that's what-
DM's inspiration for that, because I don't know if many
Ooh.
people took that on board.
well, that's actually what made me a little bit worried about Het's new god. Like, is his new god actually I don't know what the right word for it is.
Demon.
No, well, yeah. Is it a good god, or is it a demon acting like a
Even.
god that?
These are the questions. These are the questions.
Has he become Namaris? That is the real question.
Well, yes, you're
knows?
quite right.
This whole time we're assuming that Het's like going potty in a corner somewhere, not.
Yeah, he's just sorting some stuff out. What I will do in this particular situation, Fiala and Sadiq, are you having this conversation out loud in front of everyone or privately?
Can I hear?
I would like to have it in front of everyone.
In front of everyone?
Actually.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so with that, I will get specifically Fiala and Sadiq to roll an insight check for me. To see if you have noticed any kind of similarities to some of the subtleties that Namaris had expressed or shown in the time leading up to her switching sides.
I rolled a 22.
22.
And I rolled a 21.
21 and a 22. I'm going to DM you both. Sorry, chat. Unfortunately, you guys don't get to hear this.
And what was DM's inspiration again?
You essentially get to re-roll a save or a check. You literally get to re-roll a d20. Any d20 check or save, you get to re-roll, but you must take the new roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's a little box there that you can tick that says inspiration, and it'll tell you what the inspiration is. And because D&D and Beyond is like awesome.
Yep. So ultimately, what I've just messaged you guys, that's pretty much it. The frequency of the latter part seems to be a little bit more often than when you guys first met him. But that's about all you've really sort of noticed, even with pretty high rolls like that. So, Inari,
Yes.
Can you roll a history check for me, please, with advantage?
That would be a 12.
A 12? You sit there and you listen to the conversation, and you've heard them talk about a new deity or a new god. I don't know that you've heard... Actually, I think you've all heard him call the deity by name. Inari, you don't really recall hearing the name, which was the Rattlehead. You've never heard it as a deity or a god. You have heard of it, but it's definitely not a god.
Do I share this with the group?
That's up to you.
I will share this with the group, sorry.
You've heard of it, and it's definitely not a god. That's all you can remember, is it's definitely not a god. But you've definitely heard of this particular being or entity.
I turn to Sadiq and Fiala and I'm like, I've heard of this rattlehead creature, but it's definitely not on the deity list.
Well, that's troubling. I say we all keep an eye on him as to protect him.
And
Just if
the
we
only
notice
other information that you have, Inari, is that you've heard nothing overly bad about the entity, but you're not 100% sure what it is or where it comes from.
Although I've not heard anything bad about this entity.
So it's not a deity.
But it's not bad. As far as we know.
So is it like a left hand of a deity or a right hand of a deity?
You're
I
not
honestly
sure.
can't remember.
With that roll, you're just not sure. It's back.
I don't know.
I don't know how clear this microphone will be.
It's better than the other one, mate.
It's definitely better than the other one, dude, for sure.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah,
Apologies, Head was checking the hole where the creatures were. He did not hear anything.
That's fine. You didn't have anything to hear.
Did you find anything?
It's a hole, and it leads down into the under-cavern area underneath this
It
building.
is indeed a hole, and what you did find... actually, roll a quick investigation check for me. If you would,
I
please.
can do that. Just a paltry 14.
A paltry 14. With your paltry 14, you investigate the edges of the hole, and you sort of shine a light down there to see if you can see. It's not a vertical drop by any means. It sort of drops about 8 feet or so, and then it slowly curves down and away from where the throne was, so probably from where the throne is, sort of off to the left. And that's about all you can see. The inside and the outside of the hole is burst outwards, so something's burst up out of the floor as opposed to digging in. And there's a bit of mucus and slimy goop in and around the entranceway, and looks like it sort of leads into the hole as well. It's not unpleasant smell, but it's not the greatest smell either.
Head regales that to the team, and then he turns to Sadiq and says, "Sorry, Sadiq, just before I poked my head in the hole, you were saying something?"
I was just thinking about your new deity, and was wondering if it really is a god, or is it a demon playing tricks on you?
Oh, I think you have it mistaken. The Steel Lady is my deity, my god, as you put it. The Rattlehead is more of like I guess he works for her, I would say. She put me on a path to him as a helper. I don't follow him as a god, no, that would be blasphemy.
I see.
He does, however, lend me some extra abilities, which is mighty fine, I must admit. Did you not see the way I laid waste to that vampiric being?
Yes, that was impressive, but
Mind you, teamwork as well, but
the thing about power is, like, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
With great power comes
as we
great
know,
responsibility.
with great power comes great responsibility. and the tenets, definitely the tenets of the Rattlehead. It says, "See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil." I don't think the Rattlehead will put me on the wrong path. And if he does, I hope the Steel Lady would point me back in the right direction. If you see anything worrying, you have my absolute. You can stop me. Let me know. That would be fine. I would be helpful. Grateful for it.
So I wouldn't want another companion go the way of Namara.
I understand. I see where we're going with this now. Yes, that is a fair call. I guess, like I say, if any of you feel like I am endangering you, And any time where if I'm turning to the dark side, just let me know. But at this point in time, I feel I'm doing the right thing. Have I done something wrong? Have I upset someone?
Nah, I'm just making sure that you're aware of the fact that I've got your back.
Excellent. I too would be happy to put any one of you down if you were to turn like Namaris again. Just so you know.
Thanks.
Is that not what you meant?
Well, probably not to that extremity, but that's good to know.
We're on the side of right and good, I believe. And as long as we keep it up, we'll be fine. When we next see Namaris, I guess it'll be us or her. Well, unless she turns back to our side. I'm not really sure how that works, to be honest.
I don't know if we'd really trust her if she did turn back. You know, she easily turned the other way.
Well, that's right. Trust would be lost in some respects, I suppose. We shall make that decision when we see her again.
Cross that bridge when we get to it. And then burn it down.
Good reckoning. I don't know about the burning thing. Maybe we just smash it to pieces, but nonetheless. Right now, the world needs a hero. So let's be on.
Let's go into the breach, I guess.
Right.
Sounds good.
So with that, you take your short break, rest, you heal up a little bit, you tend to your wounds, and collect yourselves, collect your thoughts, ready for your impending journey into the depths of the bowels of the Bastion. You are now, by this time, probably just after midday, probably early afternoon, by the time you trekked to the Bastion and have fought your way through the front of the building and out into the building itself, bit of investigation and another battle. So you're probably heading into sort of early to mid afternoon on your time frame. You proceed back to the room where you had defeated the Eric the Awesome, and now standing at the edge of this gaping hole in the corner. Hits a little bit of an investigation. You guys are now seeing what he saw. The edges are burst outwards as though something had crawled or dug its way out. The body of the crawler, a smaller crawler, it's not as big as you would have thought, but there's a body of a carrion crawler to one side, decomposing. It looks like it's been there for quite a while. And as you're looking into the hole, you can see that sort of sparkling, the light sort of dancing off that mucus sort of lining of this particular burrow.
So guys, do we jump in or does anyone want to rope down?
Does it look like there's a way in without having to rope down? Are there stairs?
It's only about 8 feet. It's literally, it's
Oh, so we can jump.
it's just a hole. It's about 8 feet down to solid ground, and then it starts to slope off
I'll
to
leap
one
in.
side. So Nari, you
So-
going first?
It looks like Anari's first into the lungs of hell.
I'm after her.
So you all one after each other jump the 8 feet down into this hole, which is everyone's more than capable of dropping 8 feet without hurting themselves.
Just make sure everyone's out of the way before head comes
What
down.
I will do
someone.
just to make things interesting is I'll get everyone to make a dexterity check. Just a straight dexterity, so just a d20 plus your dex, just to see how well you land as you drop down this hole. So
I don't need to.
shush you, I'm not talking to you. You wait your turn. Anari, you were first in, so what was your roll?
17.
You sort of look over, you sort of do a half turn as you look down and sort of drop backwards down the hole and land on your feet. Step aside. Who was next?
Me with a 14.
Sadiq. Not quite as graceful, but you just step forward and drop down. And you land okay without too many hassles, and you step to one side, and you sort of move further down into the tunnel to allow the next person to drop. Who was next?
As a graceful wood elf, I jump in with a 6.
As you go to step and sort of you go to like half price sort of hop jump over the little edge to jump into the hole, and you catch your foot just on the little bit a little bit of rubble that's there, and you sort of half price stumble and hit. I'll give you a reaction if you want to try and attempt to stop.
Hit would attempt to grab her.
I was
To
gonna
stop
say,
her
I'll
fall.
attempt to grab her from the bottom as well.
You probably wouldn't see it because you were the first in.
Okay.
So roll another dexterity check for your reaction. Actually, make it a strength.
Strength, okay. Okay, it's still not good. 3.
3. You sort of reach out as you.
DM's inspiration to re-roll it.
Are you going to use your DM's inspiration to re-roll it? Or was that after?
No, that's better. 9.
9. Ooh, even with a 9, you reach out and you grab Fiola's arm as she sort of stumbles and falls, and you just grab the sleeve of not sleeve, the armor on her bracer, and you sort of just catch it with your claws, and then she just slips out of your grasp. You're just not quite able to grab hold of it. You still fall, but you will only take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as you sort of land on your hip as you sort of hit the bottom, and sort of it like pings your hip a little bit. You land right on that bone and just, oh crap. So a little bit of a bone bruise there, taking 1 damage.
And hit also, as his dex save for jumping in was low, it was a 10, so does hit fall in as well?
Hit, no, with a 10 you're able to jump in, but you don't land gracefully. It's like, how would I describe this landing? Kind of like
I was leaning in to try and grab her.
yeah,
so
you sort of lean forward.
Tumbles on top.
You sort of lean forward, and as you sort of, you kind of overbalance a little bit and step forward, and yeah, I would say you probably land on top of Fiola in a almost compromising position. Sort of, yeah.
Sorry, hit sort of stays there for a second or two and then sort of rolls off. He stands up and sort of helps her up. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
That was an accident.
And with that, you are Alessandris. You don't need to jump in because of your featherfall ring.
Yep.
And you just float gently. You just sort of step out and sort of look down at everyone and go, pfft, and sort of just step off and float gently down the 8 feet, landing effortlessly.
I
Chill
looked
off.
at Nurse and I'm like, maybe you should give that to Hit.
You don't even know what she's got, so you wouldn't know that she's wearing a ring. You'd be looking at her like, how did you do that? The hell?
It is a good point, though. Maybe the item that Ellie has that allows her to float gracefully down should go to the most heaviest individual in the party.
Ow, Sadiq, are you calling me fat?
No, I'm calling you Husky.
Hit gets his compass out of his backpack and points it at Sadiq and says, "Magic compass in my hand. Who's the fattest in the land?"
And as you look at the compass,
Which way is north?
you're looking at the compass, and north would be directly down the burrow that you're facing, and
It's pointing right.
and it's pointing right at Sadiq.
Nice stroke,
You
and I
do.
go, boys.
You do realise that's not how compasses work, right?
I have enchanted this compass to the maximum, and it is telling me exactly what I want to know.
It's telling you exactly what you want it to know.
Guys, you're both
roll
pretty. Let's
roll a
go.
deception check. Hit.
Oh, it's good. No, it's not. 14.
With that, roll a quick perception for me, Sadiq. If you can beat 14, you'll tell that Hit is full of shit.
What if I roll a 14?
If you roll a 14,
Honey, dog.
Oh, yummy. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Dog's just vomited everywhere. Great. I'm going to let him out. Something's upset him. Give us a second, guys. We're going to have to deal with the dog. Sorry, chaps. I'll be right back.
He's just grinning ear to ear. It's a pretty obvious joke, I think.
Outside. Quick. Out.
Yep. I think so.
So, Fiala, how's that nice new armor feeling? Is it letting you get around a bit easier?
To rinse it.
Oh, I like it very much. It's rather nice to shape in.
That's good. How about you, Allie? Now that you've cut ties with, well, somewhat cut ties with some weird beings that you were dealing with, how do you feel? Do you feel like a free person?
I wouldn't say cut ties with them
Oh, sorry about that, chat.
all. Probably cut ties with that group in the town, but yeah.
I can't smell it.
Okay,
I think the ties got cut for you there. Really.
Maybe cut a branch.
they're all dead, right? That's what I see.
Well, that branch of that may
Sorry.
have been cut, but not the rest of the world.
Okay, that makes sense, I suppose.
I think Allie still has a job to do. I think.
Yes, Ellie's job is to do whatever the hell we tell Ellie to do.
Yes, and keep us safe from traps. That last lot was a little bit dicey, Allie.
Yeah.
So down the tunnel?
So, sorry about that, guys. We are back. The dog has just vomited everywhere.
It's okay, GM. We kept the chat going.
Okay.
Sweet. Thank you, guys. So, yes. So, with a 14, Sadiq, pretty much, he's kind of believable, kind of not. You just sort of take it as what it kind of is in jest, a little bit
It's
funny.
hit.
It's just hit, yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, his head's grinning from ear to ear.
So, with that, you proceed down. I mean, the tunnel's big enough to stand just for you hit. It's you're probably scraping your head spikes on the top just. It's not the tallest of cavern. I mean, it's like a burrow at this point.
How tall is Sadiq? Am I the tallest here?
I'm pretty sure you're the tallest. Let's see. I know Alessandros ain't tall.
I'm about 6 foot, I think.
As is it.
So 5'7" for Alessandros. Looking at 5'7" for Fiala.
I'm 6'2".
Okay, so yeah,
Oh,
Sadiq,
yes,
you'd have to
taller than me.
probably have to bow your head a little bit to walk down the corridor, because it's just on 6 feet, like sort of bordering that sort of 6 foot height. So yeah, you kind of have to sort of shrug over a little bit, and as you walk down this burrow, it's not slippery. That you can feel that mucus lining the inside of this burrow. It's kind of a sort of grayish, sort of clear mucus. It's not the most pleasant smelling, but it's not foul by any means. But you probably walk about 30 or 40 feet down this burrow before you get to what looks like another drop. It's pitch black down this hole. By the time you sort of get 20-30 feet in, it's dark. So those of you with dark vision can see in shades of grey. Those who don't have dark vision can't see at all.
My sword's still glowing.
You still got it lit?
Yeah.
Okie
I've
dokie
still
then.
got it.
Well, with that, you can see another breach, which looks like some form of stonework. And as you sort of lean over, it's big enough that you can sort of all sort of bunch around this hole and look down, and you've got a 15-foot drop into what looks like a corridor.
So how do we want to do this one, people? Because the last one didn't go that way.
Maybe send Allie first.
Oh yeah, okay. Ellie goes first, and everyone jumps on Ellie. That's a good idea.
That's kind of the thought I had.
Nice.
How dark
Well-
is it down here?
How
On my
dark is
sword,
it?
Yeah, my
With the sword
sword
lit,
does 20 feet.
And Hit also has his lit up.
So you've got bright light for at least 25 to 30 feet, and then dim light for another 20 feet after that.
So, because I was going to say I got dark vision up to 90, so.
That just means you can see further than
Yep.
other people, that's all. So just let them know that.
I can see quite far, people, so I'll keep an eye as well.
You should be up front too then. Good.
I prefer to hang towards the back, just in case.
So I take it it's another 8-foot drop.
15. It's a 15-foot
15.
drop into looks from your position. It looks like a corridor that's about 10 feet wide. If you're sort of looking out and up, the corridor itself is probably about 20 or so feet high. And it is dark. There are no torches that you can see from your current position on the walls.
Well, I have a rope, so we can rope
Would
down.
the DM allow me to take someone down with me?
With your feather fall? I
It's not
would.
saying any-
Ooh, I don't know whether feather fall the ring is able to carry two people.
How long would you be able to like
This is what
jump down and then throw the ring up?
It needs to be attuned. So
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wild shape into a weasel and wrap around Allie to go
That
down.
works.
that works.
Whoa, is that a beaver?
Weasel.
Yeah, okay, a little small maybe.
So yeah, when you fall while wearing this ring, you descend 60
feet per round and take no damage. So I would say, yeah, if you got someone the same size as you, you wouldn't want them to be any heavier than you. I would allow you to take one person that's roughly the same size as you, and allow them to drop that 15 feet and take no damage. You would definitely drop faster than normal because you normally descend 60 feet per round. I'd say with an extra person that would halve it, so it'd be 30 feet. So yeah, you can do it. Definitely drop that 15 feet with another person without taking damage.
Hit's not keen. That would take a lot of trust.
I could do it.
So who wants to be first to go down?
Is there anywhere to tie off a rope up here?
Make a quick investigation check.
That'd be a 17.
17. You look around the sort of edges of this sort of hole, and it looks like something's dug its way through. So there is jagged rock and things like that. And you sort of looking around the edges, you can find an area there which looks like it would probably take a rope. It's like there's a bit of rock sort of jutted out from one side of the breach, and you reckon if you wrap a rope around it a couple of times and tie it off, it should hold for you to descend the 15 feet.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest that. That way, Ellie can take Fiala around his neck, and then me, Anari, and Head can go down using the rope to assist us.
Sounds fair.
Hit should probably go last. Less stress on the rope.
And then we'll all move
So
out
whose
of the bottom.
rope are you using?
I'll use my one.
Who's
So
yours?
I've got
So mark it.
I got a 50-foot rope, which I'll actually double over.
Okay.
Just so it takes, being that.
So you've
hits.
got enough rope that you can double it up. So you got double.
Well, it says 50 foot, so
yep.
it should be more than enough.
That'll be more than enough. You do it. So you double it over to give yourself a double strength rope, essentially. And you tie it off to the best of your ability. Which can you actually roll a quick survive? What would it be to tie a rope knot? I'd say Actually, who was on who on the boat? Who on the boat was learning knots?
Me.
It was Ali.
So
I'll
Alessandra.
get Ali to do it.
So you're gonna do it yourself? You're gonna tie the knot?
No, I'll get Ali to actually do it.
Okay. So Alessandra's roll a dexterity. D20 plus your dex plus your proficiency modifier.
I hope you know what you're doing, Ellie. I don't want to wake up dead.
Well, he was learning how to do knots on the boat, remember?
Oh, that's a point.
22.
It was
22?
only the first day we had to cut him out of the ropes.
So 22 with a roll of 22. Yeah, you take Siddiq's lead and you see where he's wanting to tie off this rope. So you wrap it round, you loop it over a couple of 3 times to give it a good anchor, and then you tie. It looks. You look at it, Siddiq, and it looks like a pretty good knot. It's not similar that you've seen on the ship when you were taking your journey across the sea, and it looks pretty good. It looks like it'll hold a reasonable amount of weight. So who's descending first?
I'll go first.
I'll follow.
So Inari, strength check from you as you descend the rope.
15. Need to get a light on and go and see.
So 15, you do hand over hand down that rope pretty deftly. Dexterity is not a problem, but you're able to hold your own weight without too many hassles at all, and you reach the floor. Who's next?
Me with a 17?
You with a 17? Same thing. You got a pretty strong arm. You're a martial weapon expert. You deal with double-handed weapons all the time, and to carry your own weight down a rope is no problem at all. Hit, last one down the rope.
Hit wishes he could intimidate the rope, but he rolled a 16, it's okay.
16. So, yeah, with that, you, again, it's hand over hand down the rope without too many hassles at all. The rope creaks a little bit under Hit's weight. It's not old rope, but it's not the greatest of rope either. It's just basic rope, but it does creak under the strain of Hit's weight a little bit, but no problem. You'll reach the bottom. And Alessandris, you just gently float down to the bottom as you did before, with the Fiala weasel around your shoulder. And you reach the floor of the passage. You look left and right with the various light sources available to you, and to your right you see about 20 or 30 feet down the corridor is a cave-in. It's all blocked off. It doesn't look new. It looks like it's been there for a little while. You turn and look the other way, and you, about 60 feet down that corridor, you see a door. Just a single wooden door.
Does the corridor look built, man-made, or person-made?
It does. It looks like it's carved rock. The floor looks relatively well made as well. It looks different to the house above. If you're wanting to try and determine how long it's been here or potentially who built it, roll a history check for me.
No, Head's not fast. Head's not fast. He was just making sure it wasn't like dug out caves by some creature.
Okay.
All right.
So
Look at Ali and go, Ali,
I'm on it.
your jobble.
yeah, so it's definitely, everything's pretty well made. Like, there are portions of it that looks like the wall is starting to crumble, and there's a few of these big holes around the place in the ceiling and in the walls. So there's definitely other things here. On occasion, you do hear a bit of sort of rumbling through the walls, and occasionally that sort of almost a skittering of, not feet, but it's almost like as you hear, just sort of, it's just in the distance, but it feels like it's sort of in the wall still. Almost that predator, alien stop type noise when they're sort of just prowling. Occasional drip of fluid as again, you notice that mucus is sort of coated around most areas where you are currently.
Looking for traps up to the door, then checking the door for traps.
Okay, so make your investigation for the 60 feet leading up to the door.
Let's get investigation, say.
Investigation. Because you are looking for
16.
traps.
16.
So, as you slowly make your way towards the door, you, after being burnt, singed a little bit, and being shot at, you are a little bit more cautious than you were before. You take your time. Takes you about 15 minutes or so to traverse the 60 feet, and you find no traps.
Check the door for traps.
You check the door for traps, roll investigation once more for the door.
20.
As far as you know, there's no traps.
I let them know that it seems clear.
Head, do you want to see this magical type?
Oh, well done. Well done, team. Well done.
Yes, it will. It will find that spell. It casts detect magic, holding his icon of the steel lady on the loop forth, and it emanates whichever area I am detecting. The doorway, I assume.
Yep.
30 feet in spherical shape.
As you finish off the sigil and mutter the arcane words you need to complete the spell, the door lights up in a brilliant arcane blue.
So it looks like, well, you were right, Sadiq. There is another magical trap here.
You're not
Don't know
entirely
what it is,
sure.
and I
You're not
cannot
sure if it's a
decide.
trap, but it's definitely magical, and it is of the evocation school of magic.
That's a good point. I don't know if it's a trap, but there's definitely evocation magic here.
And exactly what's evocation magic?
Evocation magic.
Something that evokes something forward.
That's it.
It could create things.
So, example for Het would know this, and he'd be able to relay this information. Frost, fire, any kind of weaponized magic is evocation magic.
So it could potentially be a trap because of the schooling that it is.
Yes.
Right.
Potentially, yes. I mean, freezy, burny, that sort of thing.
Freezy, burn. Well, if it's freezy, you can take that. If it's burny, Ellie can take that. If it's acidy, Ellie can take that.
Is it
The thing
worth...
is,
Oh no,
Is-
you go ahead.
after you and Aria do too much talking,
I was going to say, is it worth getting as far away as possible, and I'll just fire an arrow at the hand.
That potentially might set it off, but at the same time, it might not. I know the mage hand does.
Ah,
Is there
How-
any space underneath the door, like for a little thing to go on?
Roll an investigation check for me to see if you.
What's either side of the door?
Actually, yeah, no. If you're looking for specifically how big the gap is under the door, just roll a perception check to see if you can see any light or anything under it.
I got a nat 20.
There is a gap. It's not huge. Probably maybe quarter of an inch. Nat 20, guys.
So, as a weasel, I could probably squeeze under, you think?
Quarter of an inch, weasel. Ooh, might be pushing it. I don't know if weasels can do that, can they?
They can get pretty flat.
I will say let's go quarter of an inch. Well, that's pretty flat.
And an octopus.
Let's roll a dexterity check with disadvantage. Just to see if you can squeeze under there.
2.
2, yeah. You sort of walk forward, I mean, none of these guys knowing what you're up to because they can't speak Weasel. But you sort of go. You guys watch as the Weasel comes down off Alessandra's shoulder and runs towards the bottom of the door, and looks to try and squeeze itself under the bottom of the door, but finds that the gap is just too small.
Ali, how far away can you control your
30 foot.
30 feet?
So where the door is there ample area there to stand to one side of the door, or
You have a corridor which is 10 feet wide, so you guys are practically standing shoulder to shoulder if you're standing next to each other at the door. The door takes up pretty much the whole corridor, so there's no gap, there's no standing either side.
I think we just do the whole mage hand, stand 30 feet back,
Yeah.
and do the whole mage hand thing again, and hope to God it's not.
is it going to hurt?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Weasel runs back.
all move back 30 feet.
Actually,
I'm gonna go 40 feet.
Go 60.
I'm going as far back as I can
So
and knocking an arrow just in case.
okay, so you're going to ready an action with an arrow. So you're going to go back. You can probably to go right back to the cave in is probably about 100 feet.
That works for me.
You're going to go right back to the cave in.
As
Okay.
long as I can see over everybody.
Well, you've got. You can see with the light sources there, and you've got dark vision out to 90 feet anyway, so you'll be able to see right through to the door. There will be obscurities with people in the corridor, but if people all move to one side or the other side, there'll be enough of a gap you could fire an arrow at a target if you needed to.
Okay. I say to everybody, I'm getting ready to fire. If anything comes out, can we just move to a side, please, so I don't hit?
Ali, how far can the mage hand reach? Do you have to be
30
close to the door?
30 foot.
Okay, I will stick back about 60.
Okay, so I'm gonna cast Mage Hand, and from the 30-foot distance.
Yep.
I'm not going to try and pick the lock. I'm just going to try and open it. But I'm going to be ready. Yeah, I'm going to be ready. Try and be ready to jump out of the way if anything comes at me.
Okay, so you're going to be. Okay, so you got yourself. Everyone's sort of alert because of what's happened previously, so that's fine. So you command your mage hand. You cast it. Once again, this ethereal hand appears 30 feet from Alessandra's at the door, and you're just going to try and open the door.
Yeah.
So the hand slowly moves down to the door handle and attempts to open the door, and the door is locked.
All right, here we go. Attempt to pick it.
So you can attempt to pick it with mage hand. Same rules apply. Dexterity plus your proficiency modifier. Well, actually, no, but use sleight of hand, sorry. So roll sleight of hand, but add your proficiency to it.
$24.
So as you cast, you've got mage hand up there, and the mage hand deftly fiddles with the lock, and even from 30 feet away, you hear that audible click as the lock gives up its secrets. Now what do? The door is unlocked.
Use the mage hand to open the door.
Okay. So as you open the door, once again with your mage hand, the door swings open. Now you all see the arcane light as it brilliantly lights up an arcane blue. I will need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw. That's everyone in this corridor. As you are now faced with a large ball of white blue arcane energy, 10 feet wide, barreling down the hallway towards you.
25.
The 25 from Inari.
25, net 20.
Natural 20 from Alessandra. So another nat 20,
14 for
guys.
hit.
14 for hit.
15 for me.
15 for Sadiq.
18.
18 for the weasel. For the Fiala weasel. So as this giant ball of what hit you know straight away as icy energy fires down the center of this corridor, you guys are all saved, but still take 15 points of cold damage as the icy sphere passes through your body, and you all feel that it hits you as it passes through, and it just slowly starts to ice over your veins. You feel that cold creep up your neck, and it hits your brain, almost instant brain freeze, as this icy energy strikes all of you as it fires and then explodes in a icy cold sort of explosion on the collapsed tunnel behind Inari.
Hit will take half as he is resistant to cold damage.
Certainly will. I'll give everyone, if you have a reaction to reduce damage, you are able to take your reaction because you are all alert. So if you have an reaction that would normally reduce damage, you guys are able to use it. So
Can I use my opportunity attack?
No, unfortunately. But Alessandros, if you can use your uncanny dodge or evasion if you have it.
Uncanny dodge.
So if you uncanny dodge, you'll get half of that 15, so it'll be 7 points of cold damage instead of 15.
As the blue light hits me, I squeak, flop on the ground, and then turn into Fiala.
Oh, that's right. You've only got 1 hit. What? 10 hit points?
4.
4 hit points. So yes, as the energy strikes the Fiala weasel, you hear this little squeak, and Fiala then reforms into her natural form. Any damage that goes over your 4 will roll over onto your character. So you will only take 11 points of cold damage instead of 15.
Hit looks back at the others.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right?
That was chilling.
Yeah. Chattering.
But Hit, what you do notice straight away is that the magical energy from the doorway has dissipated, which leads you to believe that it's a one-off trap.
Looks like the arcane energy has gone. Hopefully it does not rejuvenate.
Let's get through before it's got a chance of doing it.
So you move forward, and you now find yourselves in a large, rounded room, approximately, about 40 feet in radius. So from one side to the other, in front of you, you see another doorway. This doesn't have a door; it's just an open sort of arch, which is 10, 20, 30, 40, about 50, 60 feet in front of you. To your right, another 30 or so feet is another corridor. And to your left is also about the same distance, 20 to 30 feet, is another corridor, which looks like it has stairs leading downward.
Which way, fellas?
So I'll give you...
Shall we check the compass?
I will give you just a quick reference here. 1 second.
Good idea, Inari. I'll get my compass out.
We don't know which way we need to go.
So this is essentially what you see. Is that room, that central circular room is what you're in. So in front of you, you've got a corridor. You're at the southern corridor, which is the bottom one, and to your right, you've got a corridor, and to your left, you've got a corridor with stairs.
Which way, peeps?
Which way is north?
By now, as you've been traveling forward, north would be to your right.
Should we keep going north?
Well, I think the downstairs looks quite inviting.
got the feeling that these creatures that we're after and all that's going to be down low. So yeah, to the left.
Downstairs it is.
So you move to the left, to the left, to the left.
To the left.
Towards the stair. Ellie being our trap sweeper.
Checking the place out.
So, investigation for the room you're in as you traverse the room heading towards the stairs.
I see my feet.
What was your roll, good sir? Madam Jim.
I rolled a 3, which investigation plus 5. Yeah,
8.
no.
So you rolled an 8. So with an 8, you're really sure there's no traps.
Exactly. It's all quick, guys. Let's go.
Head still has detect magic up to.
You certainly do. And what's the range on that? 30 feet?
30-foot sphere for
30-foot
10
sphere.
minutes. So I assume it's been a few minutes.
So it's for how many? 10 minutes? Yeah, no.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so 10 minutes. You still got a few minutes to go. So you walk into the center of the room, which will get the entire room and the start of each corridor. You do, as you walk to the center of the room, luckily for you, with the roll I just made, you do see several glyphs light up. 3 or 4 of them, in fact, around the room. One you just missed with your foot as you walked into the center of the room. It's 4 arcane glyphs lighting up, which are glyphs you know. One of ice nature, an ice style magical trap. Another one has the glyph of fire. Another one has the glyph of necrotic, and another the glyph of nature.
Okay, team, better stop right here.
Alessandros is standing
Here.
right next to the necrotic glyph.
Don't move, Ellie. Do not move. You're standing next to a death glyph. There are 4
Awesome.
glyphs on the floor. You have ice, fire, death, and nature. I imagine they're all going to be bad. Hit then directs the team around the glyphs.
What were the glyphs again? Sorry, I heard nature, death, and what was the other one?
Nature.
Ice and
ice.
fire.
Yeah. So you're gonna. What are you gonna do? Hit
I'd like to try and direct the team around the glyphs as
around
opposed
the
to
glyphs.
we
Okay.
can't go through them, I guess.
Yeah. So you're gonna point out where the glyphs are, roughly on the floor.
Yes, I was thinking about marking them, but I feel like that would be bad.
I mean, you could mark them, or you could mark the general vicinity if you wish. But you know that you can't touch them or step on them because that'd be bad. Obviously, I mean, you have enough knowledge of the arcane to know that touching them is not a good idea. But you could definitely mark the rough area. What have you got to mark them with?
Head takes a candle from his pack and ignites it and drips wax just next to each glyph.
Okay.
So we're aiming not to hit those stones.
Yeah. So with that marked, I'd say you mark it in such a way that people know where not to step. So with marking those 4 glyphs of arcane energy, you now are aware of the 4 traps in the center of this particular chamber. The glyphs are of they're a common arcane glyph. It's something that you've read about a lot. You don't particularly know these types of spells yet, but you know of them in your studies. So you're definitely well aware that this whole place is probably going to have traps of similar nature.
Oh, good. Sounds good.
So with that,
Okay.
do you wish to proceed down the stairs?
Are we happy to keep going, team?
Yes.
Yes. I think we're onto something going by the amount of traps that we're coming up against.
Yes, just so you're aware, I can do this again many times, but I'm running low on slots in that section. Next time I do this spell, I will have to. It will be a ritual. It will take me much, much longer to cast.
Carry on.
Carrying on.
Right, so you proceed forward down the staircase, moving with Elishanis, I'm assuming, detecting more magic along the way.
Yes.
Elishanis, I'd get you to make an investigation check for this next portion of corridor, for mechanical traps. Hit, you don't see anything magical in this corridor in front of you at this stage.
Sweet.
9.
9. You move forward again, just looking a little shaken with not seeing the magical traps, but you know, I mean, you're a mechanical trap expert. You don't know much about magical stuff. You've got a little bit of arcane knowledge, but not enough to determine how these traps work. But as far as you know, there's no traps in this next portion of corridor. So you guys move down to the bottom of the stairs, and if you will look, glance at your Twitch feed, this is roughly what you see. You walk down, you've got a corridor that's about 30 feet long, which turns to your left. Immediately left, as you reach the bottom of the stairs, you've got another small corridor that's only about 5 feet wide, with a whole bunch of debris at one end.
Choices.
So as we move it forward for you. So literally, what you see is another cave-in, with the light that Het is producing, and Sadiq, as you guys move forward, and into the sort of look down these two narrow corridors either side of the central police place there. Down this right-hand side, bottom of the stairs, you see a large sort of cave-in. As you proceed forward to check the other side, what you do see is another large hole in the top of the wall. So what you see is like at the very top of the wall, sort of where the wall and ceiling meet, there's another large hole about 10 or so feet wide, and again lots more mucus, and that is sort of dripping out of it. Below that is a large bundle of eggs. These eggs are probably about the size of an ostrich egg, maybe a little bigger, maybe double the size of an ostrich egg, so they're probably yay big. About half the size of an alien egg. If anyone's seen the Alien movies, about half that size. They are wet. They're covered in goop and mucus, and there's probably about a dozen of them.
Would I know what kind of animal they came from?
You could certainly roll a nature check for me.
I will help.
You can roll a nature check as well, Fiala, if you wish. It's not an advantage, Inari, because you're not in the Underdark.
Yeah, right, okay. So I got a 9.
A 9? They look like eggs. They're not an egg you've seen before. They're big, like I said, they're definitely bigger than an average egg. You would assume, knowing the information that you've been given and having the body of the carrion crawler, you would assume that they're carrion crawler eggs. But you're not sure. Fiala, what was your roll?
16.
16? Again, you don't know a hell of a lot about carrion crawlers, but your natural instinct leading to where you are and the information you've been given about this place, you, again, strongly believe that these are indeed carrion crawler eggs, potentially.
Hey, Namaris, you could cook. Oh, that's right.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, a quizzical look.
Look, guys, babies. Oh.
What kind of babies?
I
Not the
think
type
they're
you want to be around.
As you guys are standing there discussing the babies, one of the eggs moves. Like it was kind of violent move. It didn't crack or anything like that, but it definitely moved in a very unnatural way, and it was really creepy sounding.
Let's get out of here.
You don't want to witness a baby.
No.
So with
It's
that,
just an egg, man.
you have a corridor leading away. You can go back up the stairs to the central room, or there's a corridor leading to what would be if north is that way, leading to the west.
Should we
Head
go that
towards
way,
west
guys?
one. Yep, head towards west.
You're gonna go west.
Go west.
Go west.
Packed our bags and heading west.
You traverse west. Are you going to? You got as you turn to that western corridor. You got a corridor that leads roughly 30 feet and looks like it goes into another small chamber in front of you.
Anything to be worried about in here yet?
Hedger's looking around.
It's
Is there still any magical trail?
by now you're probably right at the end of your detect magic spell. You move that 30 feet into this next small chamber. The chamber is about 30 by 30. It's a little square chamber. On the walls, again, there's more of that mucus sort of lining the walls. It's sticky and gelatinous more than sort of running and dripping. And you notice another one of those tunnels, this time in the far corner on the floor. Looks like there's animal parts and stuff down here. These bones of different animals and things. Nothing humanoid, but this almost looks like it could be a feeding chamber of some sort. But nothing magical appears in this room.
No magic here, but my spell's about to run out.
Before you, as you sort of looking forward, you see another set of stairs leading upwards this time.
I guess we go up the stairs.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Right, who is in the front? Who's leading this?
Ellie.
Alessandros?
I'm behind.
So Alessandros, Sadiq, Het, I'm assuming somewhere in the middle.
No, Het is last.
Het is last?
Reason
I'll
being
be
is Het.
before Het.
Sorry, Het shot back right as everyone was deciding to go through there to the eggs.
Okay.
If Het can, he's going to try and quickly take one egg off the wall, put it in his backpack, and then catch up with the team if they don't.
Okay, so firstly, everyone roll a perception check to see if they notice that Het's missing. And this will be an active perception, not passive.
Does Het need to roll stealth?
Yes,
Dirty 20.
you'll need to roll stealth, please.
Top 5.
Did you get a 5?
Yes.
And I got 22.
So, Inari and Alessandros, you definitely notice that Het's not there with you at the moment in this room. Pekka, you got a 10. So, you're probably preoccupied with what's in front of you more so than what's behind you. And Fiala, what was your perception?
21.
You also notice that Het is not in this room with you guys. You guys cannot currently see him. He's just not in the room. Back to you, Het. Okay, so as you wanting to attempt to pluck one of these eggs to put in your backpack?
Yeah, like, I guess twist it off and put it in my backpack.
Make a strength check for me. Because you sort of bend down and you sort of look at the egg and you're looking around it, and it looks like it's in some form of pod type. Like the mucus is all around it. It looks like it's fairly well attached to the ground and the other eggs.
Het got a 12.
12? Ooh.
Het might throw this guys away.
As you you look at the egg and you're looking around, you go to grab it and you sort of give it a bit of a tug and it doesn't give, and you think, well, maybe if I give it a bit of a twist. And as you twist it, the bottom of it tears away and it breaks in your hands. And this greeny grey sort of ambiotic sort of fluid spills out on the floor in front of you, and this small underdeveloped worm-like creature with tentacles flops out onto the floor, writhing around, not making any noise, but it's squirming and moving around, and after about 20 or 30 seconds slowly just stops moving and dies at your feet.
Het tries to give it mouth to mouth.
Roll a constitution save for me.
As I expected. 6.
Hit takes 3 poison damage as you attempt to give this baby crawler mouth to mouth. The tentacles are covered in a acidic type fluid, and you take 3 poison damage.
Hit says out loud to himself, "That was a bad idea."
Right. So back to you.
He then heads back to the group.
Back to you guys. What are you doing now that you notice Hit is missing?
I go back to search for him.
Follow.
So as you guys are as you two head back towards down the corridor, you as you reach the corridor out from that room, you see Hit turn the corner and come back down the corridor, heading back towards you guys.
What did you do?
I'm assuming she can see marks on my face from where the little thing...
Yes, they can. They can see that you've taken some damage to the face.
I was just trying to... let's carry on, eh?
Were you trying to learn Carrion language? Were you?
No, I saw how much you liked the egg, and I was trying to get you one as a gift, but it didn't quite pan out. I tried to save its life, but, yeah, never mind.
Oh, Head.
Don't give it a kiss.
And I cast Gift of Ashari on Het.
And how many hit points does Hit get?
He gets 9.
9! 9 hit points to Hit as Fiala reaches forward and touches you, gifting you the gift of heals.
Thank you, Fiala. It stung quite a bit, actually. Reminded me of the time when I was in the sea with the jellyfish. Nonetheless, I guess we better catch up to the others.
Why were you... Why? No, I don't want to know.
I have a question. What kind of touch was it, though?
Wait,
you don't
my
know.
touch or the jellyfish?
You don't know. You weren't there. So you have no idea what kind of touch it is.
I reckon the chat would like to know what kind of touch it was.
Well, that depends on whether the players would like to share what kind of touch it was.
My Shari touch? Is that what we're talking about? I touch him on the Dragonborn lips. Do they have lips?
Yeah.
Kind of like a beaky sort of lips, yeah.
So essential touch or what?
Oh, Alexandros is turning this into porn.
Right, with that, you guys return to the rest of the group that are starting to ascend the stairs. That could have turned out really badly, Hit, just saying.
Hit was just trying to...
And the DM in the Discord, if you wish to do so, let me know when. And we can proceed with that. But you guys proceed forward to the bottom of the stairs. Alessandros, you traverse the stairs, and at the top you see that the corridor reaches another turn. More of this mucus. This mucus stuff is like lining the walls. Think of the Alien movies where they were literally cocooning everything. It's very similar here. It's just in a grey translucent mucus type membrane. It's starting to not harden. It's kind of jelly like, but it's lining everything. Roof, walls, parts of the floor. It's quite damp, and it's getting rather warm. Sort of the further you head into these catacombs. When you reach the top of the stairs, Alessandros, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Okay.
16. As you reach the top of the stairs, you hit the top step, and you hear an audible clunking sound. As you look up, the very top of the wall in front of you, hidden by sort of overgrown, like this mucus and bits and pieces, a large chunk of stone falls directly at you, and you take.
Do bonus action dodge.
It doesn't work that way. It's a reaction, not a bonus action. You take two.
React.
No. You take two points of bludgeoning damage as the stone hits you in the face. You can use your reaction to uncanny dodge it, however, and only take half that damage.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So you take 1 point of bludgeoning damage as this rock drops from the height of the wall and hits you square in the face.
This place is going to kill me, isn't it?
Potentially, if well, it could kill everyone, yeah.
Well, the way my rolls have been.
So yeah, so with that, that's you guys all see that too. You just sort of you hear the sound and then you hear this ka-dunk as Alessandros takes his rock to the face.
Ali.
Yeah, that hurt. Not much, but that hurt. Alright. Carrion actively looking for traps. Jeez.
Well, shoot.
So, do the rest of you guys follow as after Alessandros sort of takes this rock to the face, drops to one knee, opened up a bit of a wound, on nothing too serious, but it's opened up a bit of a cut on his forehead and a bit of blood trickling down his face. Do the rest of you follow?
Yep.
Yes.
Alessandros, you move around the corner, allowing. So again, it's the corridor is only 10 foot wide, so it's kind of uncomfortable, sort of side by side. You're almost single file. As you turn and traverse the corner, letting other people up. Who was next in line?
Me.
Sadiq. As you hit the top step, you hear that same concrete on concrete sound as the step drops about 1/4 of an inch under the weight of your feet. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
We're all going to die down here.
16.
16. It's basically the exact same thing. You sort of, the moment you hear that sound, you look down and you think, oh shit. You look up and you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as this rock. I mean, you manage to sort of move slightly so it doesn't hit you in the face. It sort of kind of hits you in the shoulder. But you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as the rock drops and slams into your shoulder.
I'm going to look at everyone else and say, don't step on this top step.
Looks like Ellie's found the 99 ways to die down here.
Yeah.
DM's inspiration hit.
Oh, I can be here all night.
That's about the 5th or 6th Megadeth reference tonight so far.
Yes, if anyone goes back through the vault, they're going to love it. I've got many of them.
If Hep would like to keep count of his references and DM them to me later, chat. If you go back through the VOD and count how many there are, if you then DM me on the Discord or email me or whatever what you think it is, I'll organise a free Steam game for the person that gets closest to it. You'll have until next Sunday to get me the information. So join the Discord, private message me on Discord. The number of references you believe hit, and these are Megadeth references only, for the rest of this game. So hit if you wouldn't mind just keeping a track on those.
Already doing it.
Awesome. And yeah, so chat. You're gonna have to probably go back and watch the VOD. We uploaded on Tuesday after the show. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube as well. We're 9 away from our custom URL. But yeah, make note of those references, the Megadeth song references, and DM me the amount you think it is, and the winner will get a free Steam game. So Right, as you guys then move up the stairs, Sadiq warning not to step on the top step, which is definitely a trap. You proceed, and now what you see before you is a long corridor that is spanning about 120 feet long. Again, there is no lighting down here whatsoever. The only light you have is Sadiq's sword and Het's loot if it's still lit.
Yes, it is.
So you see this long corridor opening up into what looks to be a reasonably sized chamber at the end of this corridor.
What could go wrong?
Checking for traps along the way.
Roll investigation. Make 2 investigation rolls, 1 for each 60 feet. So your first 60 feet.
First 60 feet. Yeah, I don't know nothing.
Tell me the roll.
I rolled a 4, and I believe my investigation
That's 5. Yes,
so
so
9.
9. So you rolled a 9. As far as you can tell, there are no physical traps in that 60 feet of corridor space.
Um,
And rolling for the next 60.
Roll for your next 60 feet.
while he's doing that, I'm just gonna poke Sadiq in the back and hand him a potion of healing.
Okay.
And 13.
13. Again, as far as you're aware, there are no traps in this corridor leading up to the next room. And that is where we'll take a quick break, guys. It's just gone 9 o'clock, so we're going to take a short break right here. So bear with us while we take a coffee break, a pee break, whatever we need to do. I'm going to run a quick advert as well, so bear with us. We'll be right back. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask them when we come back. We'll take sort of 5 or 10 minutes to have a bit of a chat before we get back into it when we get back. So be right back, guys.
time, eh?
I'm
Dog
back.
vomit.
And yes, I was cleaning up the dog blankets.
Yeah.
Poor little fella.
Oh yeah, I think he must have eaten something that hasn't agreed with him. I mean, I gave him a flea treatment 5 days ago, so that shouldn't be it. But sometimes dogs can have a reaction to that sort of thing. But I'd say potentially
our dog will have a reaction to certain brains.
Yeah, it could be that, or it could. I mean, he's happy enough, like he's not lethargic or anything like that, but he just wouldn't eat his dinner tonight. And
Have you seen the postie in a few days?
No, I was just thinking that. No, I think what it possibly could be too is I know our elderly neighbour does give him food every now and again, and if she's given him something with onions or something in it, that could upset him. So.
Have you seen the elderly neighbour in a few days?
No, I haven't actually. But I say he's happy enough. I just went out and checked on him before. He's not sort of laid up in his kennel or anything. He's running around like a lunatic like he normally does. So, but something's upset his guts. Keep an eye on him.
Can't be too bad.
I mean, the other thing is too. We switched up his food as well, which could also be the issue. We normally get Pro Plan from Animates. He's had that since he was a pup, and we just bought him some Purina Tucks this week, and yeah, it could be that he's been on that for about 3 or 4 days, so that could have been enough to upset the apple cart as well. Different food recipe. Potentially.
I'm back.
Right, so chat. We are back, and everything seems semi cleaned up with the dog. Dog blankets have been hosed off and hung up.
Marvelous.
So yes, I don't think we got anyone with any questions in the chat tonight, or we're just all hanging out, enjoying the show. Like I said, don't forget, guys, in the chat, if you are interested in winning a free Steam game, Megadeth references tonight in the show, courtesy of Master Het. If you can accurately tell me how many references are made throughout tonight's show, I will give you a free Steam game.
I only started doing it because the auntie said something earlier in the chat about Megadeth, and I thought, damn it, I'm going to be doing references.
Well, that reason I decided to do the giveaway, because I've been hearing the references, and it's like, I wonder if I can do something with this. So it's like, yeah, I've got some Steam games I can give away, so why not?
Rattlehead, I think got mentioned a few times, but we'll only count that as one. I don't think we should give away too many on the Rattlehead.
No, the Rattlehead is definitely just a single reference that's already been made. I'll give that one away for free. That's your first reference right there. But all the other references are to deal with Megadeth songs, guys, just to give you a hint. But since we have no questions in the chat, and we should get right back into it. You've just traversed a 120-foot corridor, and
no signs of traps.
Alessandros is pretty certain there's no traps. I just got to make an adjustment on my thing here. You guys have fucked my plans.
What does the area smell like?
The area smells damp and musty. The area is, it's very damp, musty. It is kind of earthy smell, but wet, like wet earth almost. But it had, like I said, that mucus is kind of everywhere. So
Head takes a deep breath and says, God, this place smells awful.
pretty much.
There's a taste of ashes in your mouth.
Can't be as bad as the sewers, Het.
Wow, this is true.
Actually, that's true. It can't be as bad as the sewers.
Man, at least this time you don't have to go for a swim either.
Yet.
Yeah, let's not count our chickens before they hatch here. You could be given. That's honestly saying that's like a bad omen.
Right, so you guys, now what you see before you as you traverse this corridor, not setting off any traps this time, you now break into an open room, which is about 40 feet across at its widest point from you, looking directly across the room. As you walk in and turn to your right, the room is approximately 60-70 feet long at its longest point. Along the back walls, you see a number of what you can only determine to be tombs of some description. They are inlaid into the walls on both sides. As you look around, there is probably two layers. Sort of one sort of layer of tombs is at about 10 or so feet, sort of 8 or so feet from the ground. Then another 2 or 3 feet above those is another row of markers. Along the back wall, there's 2 full rows, and then around the little, as you turn the corner, there's a little shorter wall, and there's 2 rows there as well.
All right, where are we headed then?
Allie, pick a direction.
Do you walk completely into the room first? I mean, you're sort of standing at the corridor here. You haven't actually entered the room completely.
I'd say we.
All right, good point.
We enter the room checking for traps.
So you enter the room. Before you check for traps, you do see on your immediate left as you walk into the room, probably about 10 or 15 feet from you, is a large, double, solid wooden door. Metal iron strappings across the wood, large metal hinges, and 2 large, very well made iron knockers type handles. Knockers.
Any braziers in the room?
Negative. This room has there's some old torches, but they have not been lit in quite some time. At the other end of the room, you see an open corridor leading. Looking, if Het wants to look at his compass, pretty much leading almost back the way you came in some respects.
Het likes to check his compass often.
He does. Knockers, braziers, yeah, there's all sorts of.
I am going to cast Prestidigitation on those torches.
As you cast your first Prestidigitation to light the torch, nothing happens.
Het leans over to Fiona and says, "You know, a lot of magic users use that as a practice spell. It's like first level easiest spell you can get, like not even a level. It's the one they teach you when you're a child."
I know, right?
Do I hear that?
I don't think they were trying to hide it.
I get out my tinder box and try to light the torch.
As you walk up to the torch and you pull out your tinderbox, you reach up to light the torch and you realize there is nothing to light. It's just essentially a piece of wood. The whole top of the torch is burnt away long ago. There is no tinder, no material to burn.
Has anybody got some cotton or anything?
I've got some torches.
Actually, Het thinks he has torches also.
Yeah, I'm gonna replace 2 torches.
Okay.
I'll do the
So
same.
those of you that have torches, there's probably a total of 6 torches in this room completely.
Okay, so I'll replace one.
I'll do one.
Het will use 2 candles. He doesn't have torches, but he will put candles on the tops.
Okay. So you put out, 4 or 5 torches and a couple of candles, and you light them all, and it lights up the room, and this indeed, it looks like it's a tomb. It's the door is very well made. It's been a long time since it's been opened. It's very dusty, cobwebs and that hanging over it. Above the right-hand corner of this room towards the other corridor is another large hole with this mucus all sort of around the edges of it. The mucus is covering the floor in places and along the walls. The ceiling also has a large hole almost directly above where you guys are standing.
I
Another
look
large
around
burrow.
and I hope whoever was here rusts in peace.
Assuming they were made of metal, right?
Exactly.
Going to check out the tombs.
Gonna check out the tombs? What are you gonna do specifically?
Well, checking the traps, obviously, then see if I can open them up.
So you're gonna check the tombs for traps?
Well, there might be grave robbers. They may have had traps set for them, and
Okay. So what? There's about 20 or so tombs in this room. You're gonna check every one of them?
One or two.
One or two. Okay. Give me a direction. Left or right?
Left.
Left. So the left two most tombs you're gonna check for traps. Roll investigation.
As he's doing this, Hit leans to Sadiq and says, I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of defacing graves or unearthing dead people. Is this the right? I don't think this is right.
Yeah, I don't think we should be defacing this stuff.
24.
24. You reach up, and as you go to sort of feel around the face of this sort of tomb marker, you hear Hit and Sadiq make their suggestions that probably not a good idea to fuck with the tombs.
Are we not here to look for some valuable equipment?
Actually, he does have a point.
Would the valuable equipment be rotting away in a tomb that has been here from, I don't know, thousands or whatever years?
Could have got buried with someone to be the, they're the guardian of that odd.
I've been in some tombs, of my family's at least, I guess, and normally the more important things are separated from the average rows and rows. I just feel like A, we're exhuming something eons old that we could catch diseases from, and secondly, I don't feel we're in the right place. But I mean, it just sickens me a little to think we'd be doing this. If this was your family, would you not feel a little odd?
No.
Hit, make a persuasion check, please.
Persuasion is one of my strong suits, I'm sure. 17.
17. Ali, roll a d20 for me. Just a straight d20. Tell me the number.
8.
8.
Oh my god.
Hit has a point. He, after listening to his argument, you tend to agree that he's probably right. This is probably not where valuables would be kept. I mean, some people are buried with the valuables, but generally those people are kept separate from the general interred. Like, they're normally interred separately.
Fair enough then, Hit. I'll leave well enough alone.
You know what? I really appreciate you listening to me. Hit grabs his loot, and he sings just a quick little ditty. He says, "If you're gonna die, die with your boots on. If you're gonna die," and he gives you bardic inspiration since you listened to him.
And so you get
a D8 to add to for the next 10 minutes at least for any ability check, attack roll, or saving throw that you do. Once you've used it, it's done, but at least you can use it for any of the next checks.
So, as you guys...
Sorry, a D6, not a D8.
D6, yeah, so D8's not yet next level, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I just read the wrong thing, but that's fine, D6.
So, as you guys sort of discuss and ponder the artifact situation and realise that disturbing these tombs is probably not the best idea, could I get everyone to roll a perception check for me? Just quickly.
Nat 20, 24.
Sadiq gets a 4. So Ellie, nat 20 was it?
Yeah, 24.
Natural 20.
17.
12 for hit.
So anyone with a 10 or higher will notice this.
Yeah, rub it in.
It starts. I mean, you'll eventually feel it as well, but it starts as just a low tremor beneath your feet. Alessandros, you pick it up straight. You notice as you're sort of looking at these tombs and you see, and you're sort of looking around the floor, you see some of the pebbles on the floor start to vibrate ever so slightly, and then it slowly gets more and more intense, and the floor starts to shake a little bit, and you guys then hear the noise, the sound from above you, that sounds like something large moving through earth, and it's just steadily gets louder and louder and louder. What are you guys going to do?
I'm readying up.
Hit
They're
says,
here.
Hit says that's the sound of high-speed dirt. We'd better move. And he backs to the nearest wall, taking a look at where it's coming from.
And as you back up, Hit, and you look up, you see bits of dirt and dust start to fall from that large hole in the center of the sort of off center of the center of the room. To give you an idea, I'm going to take you over to a battle map,
Dun dun dun.
and I'll turn the light on so you can see it.
Dark there. Wow.
It was dark there. So, to have a bit of reference, we had Alessandros standing there, checking out a tomb. I'd say Sadiq and It would have been there having their conversation, and you guys would have been roughly about the center of the room.
So we're all going to gap it for the walls then, I take it.
So Het says is moving to the closest wall, which is this one here.
Correct.
Follow.
The hole that you guys have noticed in the ceiling is about sort of that area in the room. So where the laser pointer is.
I move over between Ellie and Het. I mean, yeah, Ellie and Het.
I'd like to stay next to Inari.
We're moving over to that one wall. Think where are you
Yep.
going?
Same.
The wall next to Het there. So you've all lined up against the wall.
Snuggling up with head.
Shooting range styles, like execution styles against the wall, ready to be killed or shot at.
Pretty much.
And as you all sort of scurry to the side of the wall, that sound gets louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden, at the opposite end of the room, through the other hole that was at the center of the room, burst forth a large worm-like creature. And that hole that you were just by drops out a second worm-like creature, writhing, covered in the same mucus that you've seen around the halls that you've just been traversing, and two large carrion crawlers, slightly larger than the one you saw upstairs, burst forth, tentacles flailing, mouth open, mandibles dripping with sort of greenish grey ichor. And I'll, with that, get everyone to roll initiative, please. Give me 1 second to organise. I will call for your initiative. We will have Alessandros, what's yours?
15.
15. Hit.
16 for hit.
16. Fiela.
20.
20. Inari.
15.
15. And Sadiq.
21.
21. We will start our encounter. Sadiq, you are at the top of the round with Fiela up after you. You watch as these two worm-like creatures burst from the ceiling into the room, dropping a bit of debris and bits and pieces around them as they drop. They sort of turn and look directly at you guys and hiss loudly, tentacles flailing. What do you do?
Good question. Actually, do I use my dagger or do I go with the sword?
As a point of reference, your medallion, your symbol around your neck, is not glowing.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah, I'm gonna throw my dagger at it.
You gonna throw your dagger? No worries. Roll to hit. Your first attack. Which one are you striking first? The one closest to you or the one furthest away?
Yeah, the one straight in front of this.
One straight in front? No worries.
17 to hit.
That does indeed hit.
Five points of damage.
5 points. Oh, they've changed the damage thing. Ooh.
And 19 to hit.
19 to hit on the second. You fire your first dagger. Hit it just below the tentacles, and as the dagger disappears and reappears in the hand, you fire again. That does hit.
And that one's 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. This creature sort of, as it hits it, and you sort of, it looks up and it hisses and drool, and you see this drool dripping from its tentacles, and it takes the damage, but it's looking around like it's taken no damage at all. It doesn't look like it's affected it very much. You're going to move, bonus action.
No, I'm just gonna stay where I am.
Stay you up. Okie dokie, Fiala, you're up next.
I am going to touch Inari on the shoulder and cast 3rd level flame arrows, which her next 12 arrows get a 1d6 extra fire damage.
Ooh, okay. Let me just check this spell. This sounds really freaking interesting. Flame arrows. Touch a quiver. Oh, okay, cool. Concentration. So you're concentrating?
Yeah, it's a concentration, and it ends when 12 pieces of ammunition have been drawn.
I'll mark you as a concentrating. So you are concentrating for the next hour. So Inari, make note of that all your arrows, or your next 12 arrows, have 1d6 fire damage added to them. Nice spell.
I'm just going to hold where I am.
Just going to hold where you are. Awesome. So just be aware that if you do take damage, you'll have to make a Constitution saving throw to hold that spell. If you lose that spell, she will lose the damage.
Yes.
So next up is the crawlers. The first crawler taking damage from you, Sadiq, is just going to rock straight into immediate melee combat with you. The second crawler, pretty much you're the closest person to do it. They both just move, sort of slither and crawl. You can see the dozens of feet they have under their bodies. I mean, they don't really carry themselves. It's almost like a half worm, half centipede. It's really creepy to watch. They make a horrible sort of slithering, skittering sound as they charge towards you. The first crawler is going to make a multi attack. It's you, one with a tentacle, one tentacle attack and one bite attack. The tentacle first is a 11 to hit, which I believe misses.
Yeah, that's a miss.
The bite is a dirty 20, so you will take 8 points of piercing damage as the first crawler strikes forward with its maw, missing with the tentacles. The tentacles sort of catch your armor, and you see this green ichor sort of splat across your armor as it hits you, and you're looking at that going, okay, I don't want to be hit with that. That looks horrible. It stinks, and it kind of looks like it's almost trying to burn through your armor. The second one also makes his attacks at you. First one, the tentacles, this time will be a 17 to hit.
That's a hit.
And the bite is a 19. So you will take...
That's a hit.
You will take 6 points of poison damage and 8 points of piercing damage, and you'll also have to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Con, you say?
Con save, yeah.
That'd be 16.
16. You save from the particular effect. As the tentacles sort of slash out across and hit you across the neck, you take that initial poison damage, and you feel this dull pain sort of into the site of the wound, and you feel your shoulder and neck start to lock up, and then you sort of shrug it off as the effect of this strike does not take hold. You will then be it for them. That's pretty much all they're going to do. Hit, you're up. Alshonish, you are after that.
Hit holds his lute forth, brandishing the symbol of the Steel Lady, and he says, "Steel Lady, guide us, for these creatures that look like they may bite the hand of their masters." And he casts bless on everyone except himself.
I knew that
That's
was
a second
coming.
level bless.
So everyone has blessed except for hit. And I will mark concentration with a gold one. So you're blessed and concentrating. So you guys get that extra D4, I believe it is, on saving throws and attacks, I believe.
That is correct. D4 on saving throws and attack rolls.
So mark that down, guys, that you have that while bless is up. Hit, the rest of your turn, please.
Hit is also concentrating now.
You're concentrating also?
Hit does not see us. Correct. Bless is concentrating. But Hit does not see a way out of the situation without getting hit. So he is staying right where he is to try to aid his friend.
Okie dokie. So with that is Hit's turn. Cast bless across the group as the radiant aura surrounds you guys. Alashonish, you're up, and Ari, you're up after that.
Ali, if you need to use your bardic first before the bless, because it only lasts a small amount of time.
What's the bardic inspiration do?
That gives you a D6.
A D6 instead of a D4.
The attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay. So move up to the first Carrion crawler. And attack
with advantage.
Yeah, and attack with the rapier.
With the rapier, no problem. So attacks with advantage. Your attack is with advantage, so you'll get your sneak attack as well.
Oh, the first attack is hang on, 20 something. It's a hit.
That definitely hits.
Hang on. D8. Where did I put it?
You guys see that camera okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's 5 with the rapier and
5 damage with the rapier. And with your sneak attack. Math is hard, chat. Math is hard.
yes, 3.
3?
13.
13, I was going to say 3. That'd get 3 ones or something. So 13 points of damage as Alashonish rocks in with her first strike across the back of the crawler, striking out with the rapier. And because she's coming from the back, as rogues do, flanking position, gets a sneak attack damage and deals a reasonable amount of damage. And with that, the crawler turns quite quickly to face you, as you've now done the most damage to it. Your second attack, if you wish, or a bonus action. What are you going to do?
Using the Windbane Dagger as my secondary attack.
The Windbane Daggers only work if you're dual wielding them.
Oh, okay.
That's how they were created.
Then in that case, just a normal dagger.
Normal dagger, no worries.
15?
15 does hit. They're pretty big creatures. They're not too hard to hit.
5.
5 points of damage as you strike out with your secondary attack and carve a small. You open up a small wound on the back of the creature, and then as the creature turns to face you, you sort of lash out and catch it just on the front there. Not doing too much damage, but it's enough to upset it to the point where it's now sort of rearing up on its legs, and you got this green-grey ichor sort of dripping from its maw, dripping down towards you, hitting the floor, and almost you can almost hear it sizzling as it hits the floor.
Shut up, you what?
That is your turn. And Nari, you're up.
Right. I am going to, as my bonus action,
Yes.
cast Hunter's Mark on the one furthest away from me.
Is my one furthest away from you. So there's that one is now. Whoop, crap. Actually, I'm going to mark that with color because, just in case we have a hex mark, so we've got Hunter's Mark there.
And then I am going to
Pick up.
I'm going to use my Dread Ambusher. So I'm going to attack it 3 times. And I'm going to use Sharpshooter on all of my attacks.
No problem. So -5 to your hits. But you do get an extra attack on the first attack of this round.
Ah, nat 20 for the first one.
You just said that you thank God for bless. You don't get to re-roll it.
No, I
Bless
didn't.
adds a d4.
I literally rolled a natural 20 and the d4 at the same time, and I got a natural 20.
Don't roll your d4 until you've rolled your d20.
Okay, well, nat 20. So 24, no, nat 20. So that first one. Do you want to do damage as we go?
No, roll all hits first.
Second one is 16.
That hits.
18, 19. No, dirty 20 because I get 4
Really?
of that. Yeah, I rolled
Learn your
16
math.
plus 4.
Well, you did say math is hard.
And my third one, I rolled a 4, so 4 is 8, and a d4 and 4 is 12. So I
That
think
misses. Yeah, so your third attack, your bonus attack misses. So you get 2 standard attacks, which is your regular, but you do get the d6 fire damage for both of those arrows.
Yep.
So roll a d8 and a d6 for both of those to hit for your damage. Math is hard, chat. Math is hard.
And a d10 for my sharpshooter,
And +10 for your sharpshooter as well, yes.
The first one is...
This will take a while. It's a lot of math.
Alright.
Carry the 2.
Minus the 12.
17 for the first one.
17 for the first arrow. You fire
Divided by
first.
7.
Your first arrow, it strikes true. Which one are you firing at, by the way?
The one that I've got Hail of Thorn, Hunter's Mark on. Oh shit.
You've got no. From where you are, you'll have no line of sight on that one. So you'll have to do it on the one that's closer to you, because you'd be firing through 2 targets to get to it. So you would, if you were wanting to fire at that, you'd have to roll it at disadvantage to shoot past your 2 allies.
Okay, well I'll shoot it at the other one then.
Yeah, I mean, you can hit that one fine because it's practically right in front of you. It's 10 feet away, but it's there. The other one you'd have to shoot past Hit and Sadiq to get to it. And the way I look at it is just it's too much going on for you to be able to accurately shoot that without disadvantage. So they still hit. So 17 damage for the first. Roll your damage for the second. You just don't get Hunter's Mark damage. If there is any damage for Hunter's Mark.
The other one, yeah, there's d10. Oh, there's 3d6.
You don't get 3d6 damage on Hunter's Mark.
20. You should if you roll it at level 1.
I'm going to double check it. So what's your damage for your second arrow?
20.
That's with a d8 plus 10 plus your d6, yeah?
Yep.
Right, so 20 points of damage. 37 points of damage
And do I get a crit hit for my first?
Yeah, you were supposed to add that. You add your 8.
Add another 8.
Jeez, lady, if you forget, I'm not gonna tell you to if you forget, you forget. But again, guys, Anari proving her worth as an archer, scoring a critical hit on her first strike, and dealing fire damage as well. The arrow lights up the moment you draw it. The arrow's inert the moment you draw it. The moment you draw back and let it loose, it just lights up in midair as it strikes the creature. Where is your hunter's mark? I've got to double check this. Get 1d6, not 3d6.
I see mine's got 3 at the top.
Yeah, but that's the different types of weapon damage. You only get 1d6 per hit. So if you fired 3 arrows, you'd get 3d6.
3, 6, yeah.
Yeah,
So
if you
so
hit,
I
it's
fired
1d6 extra damage per hit on that target. So you have to actually hit
that's
it.
all I fired anyway. So.
Yeah. We didn't fire at that target, so you don't get the d6. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't get down. Yeah. Okay.
But you just have to be aware. So just 1d6 extra damage per target when you hit it on that target, and you'll always know where it is. By the way.
Yeah.
And you can track it and all that sort of stuff. So that's cool. So yes. So as Anari fires her arrows, doing some pretty nasty damage to this creature, it turns and faces you, hissing, still kind of sizzling from the flaming arrows now sticking out of its body. With that, are you going to move?
I am. I'm going to take I'm going to move.
You got 40 feet of movement for your first turn, remember?
20, 25, 30, 35, 40. I want to move to... I'm going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 to the other side of the room, and then I'm going to go across until I'm in line.
Your other side of the room doesn't give me any information. You tell me which to the door.
Go to the opposite side of the room that I'm on now.
So in a straight line.
In a straight line.
You can't, because you've got to go through. You'll get an attack of opportunity if you do that, because you'll be going right past the crawler.
What, from...
If you're going in a straight line to the opposite side of the room, which is down to here, you've got to go past the crawler, which will get an attack of opportunity.
I'm 10 feet away from the crawler.
But you'll be passing within its range if you go in a straight line.
Okay, I will go...
I said, do you want to go over here first and then move to a different place?
Where are you? I can't see at the moment.
Over towards the door.
Yep, that'll do.
Right, that's what I asked, because you can't... If you're going to move through here, right, through a straight line, down towards Elishandris, you're going to move directly into melee combat.
Am I in the middle on that side?
You're right. You are that character there, the one with the bow.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine then.
So you'll get to 20 feet to there, and then where do you want to go from there? You got another 20 feet of movement.
And then I will go 5, 10, 15, 12, 15.
To where?
In a straight line, parallel to Ellie.
Okay. That puts you there facing the crawler. Right. That was hard work. But we got there. Is that everything you're going to do? You got action, bonus action, movement. Good, you're done. Back to the top of the round with Sadiq.
Swapping to my sword and attacking.
Go for gold. Which crawler are you attacking? The same one you struck before? The one that's taken damage?
One that went at me.
Yep.
And that would be a dirty 20.
That will definitely hit.
You want damage or damage at the end?
Roll both your attacks and we'll resolve the damage at the end.
21.
21 damage or 21 to hit the second attack?
21 to hit. Second one.
They both do hit. Roll your damage. Have you still got the right up on your sword?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I've just got the normal Rider Dawn, which does radiant damage.
Okay. Cool. Or total damage.
13 for the first attack, and
13.
12. No, wait a minute, not 12. And 13 again for the second.
Total of 26 as Sadiq switches to Heaven Executioner and strikes out at this crawler, hitting it with 2 heavy strikes. Radiant damage flashing out as it connects with the target. Inari still has the largest amount of damage. The crawler is solely focused on you, but has taken some pretty bad damage. It's looking pretty bloodied at this point. Sadiq, anything else would you like to do? Yeah, you're up next.
I'm also going to pop one of my pills.
Okie dokie. That'd be your bonus action. So that's
yeah.
Pop a pill. With that, Fiala, it is your turn.
I'm going to move up next to Inari in front of the crawler. So I can hit the crawler and touch Inari.
Not a problem.
I'm going to cast Cure Wounds first level on Inari for... Chop the dice. 8 health.
8 HP to Inari.
Oh, I feel all warm and fuzzy.
Just a little bit.
And I'm going to smack Shillelagh at the crawler.
Smack away. Roll to hit.
It's a 15.
That does hit.
Is just 7 damage.
7 damage. As Fiala rocks forward, drops a Cure Wounds on Inari. She drops past her and then pummels the crap out of this large worm-type creature with her shillelagh. Doing a little bit of bludgeoning damage. Not too much, but it's definitely looking a little bit worse for where the team focusing on this one creature at this point. Is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Crawler A's turn right now. It's looking at what's happening here. It can't get through to the prey that it wants to get to, so it's going to attack the closest thing to it, which will be Alessandros. Alessandros, 2 attacks, 1. Actually, what are we going to do here? Actually, no. This creature is going to use one of its legendary actions, and it's going to spew bile. 15 feet in a straight line, which will catch all 3 of you guys. You all need to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Dirty 20 for me.
Dirty 20 to you. Alessandros?
16.
How much, sorry?
16.
16, and Inari.
Oh, wow. I got a whole 11.
Okay, you fail, the other 2 succeed. So all creatures struck by the bile spew have disadvantage to hit for 1 round due to the noxious stench that's now clinging to you. So you all get that. So just mark that you have disadvantage on your next attack. For the remainder of the next round, your next round. Alessandros and Biela, you guys take 4 points of poison damage each, and Inari, you take 8 points of poison damage.
Do I need to make a con save?
Nope, not for that one. So that is a legendary action on that one's part. It now takes its regular attack at Alessandros. Tentacle attack with a 24.
No, that doesn't hit.
And the bite attack at a 14.
That's a hit.
So 24 and 14, I'm pretty sure they both hit. So you'll need to make a con save for me.
That would be a 9.
That'll be a 9. That'll be a failure. So you are poisoned for 1 minute. Now have the find my poison rings. So you now have the poison condition for 1 minute. So I believe that gives you disadvantage on something. I can't remember exactly.
Disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Right. So you already have disadvantage on your attacks for the next turn anyway. So you just that'll be just straight disadvantage for the next until you get rid of the poison.
Don't get any damage.
You do take damage. You will take 10 points of poison damage. And you'll also take 12 points of piercing damage. As the creature bites down and flails its tentacles in your face, causing you to become poisoned. The poison surges through your veins. Until that poison ends, you are also paralyzed. Unfortunately, so you cannot move.
You read that.
So you cannot move or speak. You automatically fail strength and dex throws. Attack rolls against the creature have disadvantage, which already attacks against you have advantage next attack. And any creature that hits you is with a melee attack within 5 feet is a critical. So you are now paralyzed. That creature is done. The next is going to attack you, Sadiq, because you are still its closest meal. Tentacle attack and a bite attack. The tentacle attack is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, that's
and the bite is a 12, which I think fails.
That's a miss.
So, again, need a con save for the tentacle attack.
19.
19. That does indeed succeed. So that does succeed. So you do not become paralyzed or become poisoned, but you do take 10 points of poison damage and 12 points of piercing damage. No, not the piercing, just the poison from the tentacle. So 10 points of poison damage.
Okay.
Hit, you are... It is your turn, sir. And Alessandros, you are up after that, but you're paralyzed, so you can't do anything.
Is Hit face to face with one of those creatures in front of him?
No, you are basically... You'd have to move 1 square forward to become in melee combat, so you're 10 feet away.
Excellent. Hit wants to move right back to the corner next to the doorway, straight in a straight line back to...
Badoosh, done.
Hit then raises up his loot, and he tweaks the little switch on the side, engaging need more gain. And he says, points the loot with facing the symbol of the Steel Lady at Sadiq, and he says, Steel Lady, this man was built for war. Please heal him now. And I cast Healing Word at 3rd level with need more gain.
Which will maximize the heal, and double it. So whatever the maximum heal is, double that, and that'll be your...
Sorry, no, I've already used your one. Need more gains, the other one. That
needs more gain? Okay. Oh, that's right. You've already used that one.
Correct.
Yes, correct.
That's 11 points of healing for Sadiq.
Sadiq, you hear the loot strike up, and you feel the warm, fuzzy, radiant energy flow through you as you regain 11 hit points.
Then Hit looks around the room and notices Ellie is also in need, and he makes note for his next turn that he will be doing something similar.
Yes, you can see that Alessandros is stuck in place, not moving, unable to speak, and is looking rather green around the gills, suffering from poison.
Don't worry, Ellie. I'll get even.
Doesn't he get a chance to break the...
At the end of his next turn. He's got to do it at the end of his turn. He's got it this time around. At the end of his next turn, he can get another saving throw to break the paralyze.
Hit is done.
Right. So Alessandros, it would be your turn, but you're paralyzed and can't do anything.
Sorry, can't speak either.
No, you can't speak either. So, Inari, it is your turn.
Right, I'm going to move. I'm going to take a side step to my left. Right.
So you're right.
Yeah.
You sure?
And then I'm going to move 15 feet. So I'm in line with that second carrion crawler. Or 10 feet, so I'm in line
Got
with
your
that
10
second.
feet, yeah.
So I can see it.
You can see it fine. You can see both of them fine. So which one are you attacking?
The one furthest away from me.
So you're attacking the one that you've hunters marked.
Yep.
Okay, so you get 2 attacks. Both with a d6 for your fire arrows. And are you using sharpshooter?
No, I'm not going to use sharpshooter.
Not going to use sharpshooter? Okay, so no sharpshooter, so you just get the regular damage.
Yep. So I hit the first one with... Because this is both at disadvantage.
Yes, you are at disadvantage.
15.
It does hit. Your second attack.
And the second attack is 16.
They both still hit, even with disadvantage. So roll your regular damage plus your d6 fire damage. Your fire arrows. Mark your arrows too.
I am.
You've only got 12. So.
Oh, wow. So 5, 10, 12, 17 damage altogether.
17 altogether?
Yep,
Not a problem.
That is 5
That's fine.
damage.
So you got, again, you draw your bow, you're affected by this bile stuff that's sticking all over you. It stinks, it's in your nostrils, it's in your eyes, making your eyes water, but even at disadvantage, you still manage to strike true with your arrows. Both arrows lighting up with flame damage as they fly through the sky and strike their target. So just remember...
Oh, and Hail of Thorns.
Not Hail of Thorns, it's Hunter's Mark. D6. 1d6 for each one of those. So roll 2d6 for your both your hits.
Yep. 7.
7. So another 7 points of damage here. Remember your Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, I figured out 2d6s. That's why I had those out. I was wondering.
So it's 1 for each hit. So you, again, just the extra damage from the Hunter's Mark, you know where your target is. It's even with the disadvantage, you can see it, you hit it, and you deal the damage. With that, you still got 5 feet of movement. Bonus action.
Bonus action. I'm going to take a potion, healing potion.
Do that. That's fine. With that, next up is back to the top of the round with Sadiq.
Right.
And Fiala, you're up after that.
How bad does this one in front of me look? Like,
looks pretty bad. It looks pretty bad. It's pretty bloody. It's got several open wounds. It's got arrows sticking out of it. It's not looking healthy.
So I'm guessing it's nearly dead.
You would determine that it's getting pretty close.
Okay, so I won't bother marking it. Alright, I'm gonna swing it.
You're still aiming for the one that's damaged?
Yeah, the one that's right in front of me.
Cool. Swing away.
Alright, first attack 19.
That hits.
Second attack.
Let's resolve your
30,
first.
20.
Let's resolve your first attack first, just in case you need to mitigate damage to another creature.
Okay. So its first damage would be 18.
18. As you strike out with Heavenly Executioner with this huge ass strike, you strike down the crawler in front of you and don't quite sort of cut right through the back of its body, but as you cut through, you hit what you think is bone, and you hear the creature exhale loudly, and then it sort of slumps and rolls forward and drops dead in front of you.
Alright,
so your second attack.
I'm going to turn around, and as bonus action, I'm going to Blood Curse mark.
Gonna Blood Curse? Mark, that has now been cursed and Blood Curse and Hunter's Mark.
So it's a 17 to hit.
That hits. Your damage.
Um, 16 points of damage.
16 points of damage. As you defeat the first crawler, the other one doesn't even seem to care that a fellow crawler has been taken down in combat, and you strike out and open a large wound across the front of this second crawler. Remind the chat again what the blood curse does.
The marked curse just allows me to do an extra lot of damage. Another dice roll, pretty much,
cool.
Of D6 on.
Awesome. So with that, is that your turn?
That's my turn.
Fiala,
I've also got to do my heal.
Yep, do your heal. Fiala, is your turn.
Alright, sorry, Nori, I'm going to break concentration on the flaming arrow and cast 3rd level Moonbeam on, which is a con save.
Okay, Constitution save for the crawler, which I believe it just failed at a 9.
Yes, it did.
And your damage, please.
28.
As out of seemingly nowhere, a beam of moonlight just fires forth and strikes the crawler right in the chest. 28 points of damage. Holy crud balls. The crawler cries out in absolute agony as it's struck by this beam of energy. Nice attack. Bonus action movement.
I'm going to move next to Allie, and I can't do anything till next round.
Moonbeam is concentration. Oh, because you can move it, can't you?
Yeah.
We're going to have to mark that. We're going to have to mark that area.
Oh, the mark fell off as well.
Oops, I'll sort that. I don't have a mark. I don't have a marker for Moonbeam, so I'm going to have to make one of these. So it is.
Soon it's going to have that many markers on it.
Well, the thing is, the Moonbeam can be moved like fireballs. So
it's a 5-foot cone sphere.
Boom, and it's directed on. Put it there so we can see it. It is directed on the crawler at the moment. So that little red marker under there is the Moonbeam marker, which is a 5-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range. Until the spell ends, the dim light fills the cylinder. So, wow. And what level did you cast that at? 3rd level?
3rd level.
28 damage. Holy crap.
And I like to scooch next to Allie so I could heal her next round.
No problem. Pretty much right there next to her anyway. Within 5 feet, you're within touching distance. And with that, it is now the crawler's turn. It's not going to do anything apart from eat the person in front of it. Although, it did just take some massive damage from you. It's going to turn and charge you, Fiala. And Sadiq, you'll get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Now with Moonbeam, starts its turn there or ends its turn. Okay, cool. So roll your attack of opportunity.
That would be a 17 to hit.
Does hit, and roll your damage. And because it's marked, I believe you'll still get that damage as well.
Yeah, I'm just
trying
to work out. $19 points of damage.
Wow, that's awesome for an attack of opportunity. As the creature moves away from your melee range, you strike out and catch it across the lower part of its body, and severing a portion of its tail almost. And it's not looking too healthy at all, but it's still managing to writhe forward and attack Fiala. Whew. So, with that, this creature is going to use a legendary action and attempt to swallow Fiela.
Story of my life.
The carrot is going to make a bite attack within range. If the attack hits, you are swallowed. And rolls a critical fail, natural 1 on the attempt at the swallow. It sort of comes down and tries to swallow you. It just misjudges completely with the blood curse, the hunter's mark, the damage from the moonbeam. It's just not quite feeling itself. It does, however, still get its regular attacks. Tentacle tap at 19 and bite attack at 9. I believe the tentacle does hit.
Yes.
So you need to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please. And you will take 15. Takes 10 points of poison damage, but you do not become paralyzed. You do not become poisoned. You shake off the effects. As again, once again, this creature lashes out with its tentacles. That poison seeping into the bloodstream, but not taking hold. Your Constitution's just hard enough that it seems to be fighting off this poison that's now flowing through your open wounds. Whew. Next up, Het. And then Ali, you're after that.
Het was already looking at Ellie, and he heads in a straight line to Shim, right up to her. Touches Ellie on the head.
Yes. Do your thing.
He pulls forth his lute, like he's already got it forth anyway, and he starts strumming away, and he says, "It seemed this time that Ellie, poison was the cure," and he cast Cure Wounds at 3rd.
Cure Wounds at 3rd level.
That is 19 healing points.
So, Alessandra, she received 19 HP. Fiela, just before I forget, I need you to make another Constitution saving throw. Oh, no, don't. You're not concentrating anymore. Never mind.
Well, I'm concentrating on Moonbeam, so...
well, yes, you'll need to make a con save for that. So you'll need to roll at least a 10.
So, nat 20?
Nat 20? Well, you definitely hold concentration on Moonbeam. So, Het, anything else you would like to do?
No, Het has moved. Het has cast a spell. Het is happy.
Het is happy? No problem. Alessandros, you're up next. You're still paralyzed, but you get to make a save, that paralyzation. So, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
19.
19? With a Constitution saving throw, you blink your eyes a couple times and you shake free of the paralyzation. The poison still remains. Nope, the poison disappears and the paralyzation does also. So you're no longer poisoned. You are no longer paralyzed. And I'm pretty sure. And your disadvantage has ended on that target as well. So you are free to attack.
It was at the end of my turn that I was meant to do that.
Well, you couldn't. Essentially, you couldn't do anything anyway. So.
So I get to attack, do I?
I'll give you one attack. You won't get your bonus action.
All right, attacking the radio. $17.
All good, Wes. 17. That does hit.
And 5.
5 points of piercing damage from a rapier, is it? 5 points of the piercing damage. As Alessandra strikes out after shaking off the poison, frustrated that she hasn't been able to get a decent attack, and just lashes out at the crawler. Inari, Do you want to use a bonus action to move, Alexandros?
No, I'm good.
You good? Anari, you're up.
I said, do I want to use a bonus action to move in Chandras? I am going to attack with sharpshooter.
Yep, your disadvantage is now over, so you can attack with sharpshooter. Remember your hunter's mark as well. You do not have the flaming arrows, though.
Yeah. So, my first one hits with a 11, 12, 15.
15? That does hit.
Is 23 to hit.
That does hit, so 2 hits. You roll your damage plus your d6s.
So altogether we get 41 damage.
How do you get 41 damage with 2d8s and 2d6s?
And 2 lots
and,
of 10.
Oh, she's got plus 10, don't you? Fuck! I keep forgetting about the plus 10. Holy crap. Describe the demise of this crawler as you fire your 2 arrows into this creature, destroying it.
One enters
Holy
its eye,
crap.
and the other one hits in the middle again and goes straight into the brain. It just collapses in a ball of...
So the first arrow fired just under the eye socket, destroying the eye with an audible popping sound as the eye just is completely disintegrated. The crawler screams out and turns with its good eye to look at you, and you just line up that shot and fire it, and it hits just above where it would, if it had a nose, the nose would be, burying it into the skull of this creature, and you hear an audible thunk as the arrow strikes, and the creature just almost stops instantly and then just slumps to the ground in front of you guys. No longer moving, no longer breathing. And we are out of initiative.
Is it worth food?
I wouldn't need it, Inari. I tried to help one earlier. You saw my face. It was very stingy.
This is very true.
So we are back to the main scene. So you're out of initiative. You are battered, you are bruised. You have 2 dead worm-like creatures in your room, secreting some form of disgusting poisonous goop from wounds and such. What are you guys up to? What are you doing?
Is it worth trying to retrieve my arrows?
You roll a perception check just to see what condition they're in.
15?
15?
Probably not.
Yeah, you look at them and you can see that whatever that is inside these creatures and whatever they've secreted as attacks, and it's evident from the wounds from your party too that those arrows are useless. They are starting to sort of almost like rot where they've struck the creature, and it's you can smell it. It doesn't smell right. You don't really want to touch these creatures.
Okay.
Fiona, I see you're injured. Would you like me to help?
And yeah, Alessandra, you're no longer poisoned either.
Still.
If you can, that'd be good.
Yes. Hitch has a little bit of energy left to expand. Head casts 2nd level cure wounds, and he touches Fiona on the side of the cheek. And gives her 10 points of healing.
10 points of healing for Miss Fiela.
Anyone else? How about you, Ellie? Do you need another top-up?
Wouldn't go astray.
Come here, then. And Head puts his hand on Ellie's shoulder and gives her a 1st level cure wounds as well. Not too bad a roll. 9 points of healing for you.
9? So 9 points of healing to Alessandro's hit sort of makes the rounds. You're all pretty battered and bruised, and the smell in this room now with these 2 corpses and with the bile that's been spewed around is pretty noxious, and it burns the back of your throat as you breathe. stings your eyes. Not very pleasant at all.
That was some good work, guys. Inari and Steak. Wow, you really showed us how to crush him.
I think Inari did the more killing than what I did.
I guess, but there was a lot of damage going on. It was well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good team.
I would say. Let's see if we can find somewhere to rest.
So
wonderful idea.
you guys, you're still in that same chamber. So you're in the what I will call the sarcophagus room or the tomb room. So you've got all the obviously you've got 2 open corridors. You've got 2 open holes where the crawlers had been burrowing through these crypts, and you have a closed door in this room also.
I recommend we check out the closed door, maybe.
And just quickly, I want to acknowledge the raiders. Cheers for the raid, guys. Appreciate that very, very much. Oh God, something's happened. Pink Panther's playing in my ears.
Harry, I don't know with our current state if it's wise to check the door in such a hurry.
Open to options, people.
I was gonna turn the bot off for a second, guys. I was having Pink Panther playing. That was weird.
I vote we just look at the door, but yet make a camp.
So you guys want to check the door?
We'll set camp.
We'll set camp in that room?
Yes, I think I'm definitely very tired and expended after that last round. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I mean, we look healthy, right? But there won't be much more of that if we go through the door, and there is more of these things.
So there's a passage behind us, and there was the passage that we came through.
The passage you came through, there's no doorway. So you got a passage that you came through, no door. You got a passage to which is almost back the way you came with no door, and then you got the doorway, the single doorway in this room. I will bring back up a reference for you guys. 1 second.
Yeah, we were lined up by the door.
So you were all pretty much lined up in the center of the room behind us. So if you look at the map reference at the moment, you guys were all sort of about here in the room. You got a door to the top of the map, and you've got an open corridor up here and an open corridor down here.
What can we see down that way?
Down that corridor, if you look down, it's just another corridor. So it's a corridor that sort of goes 20 feet in and then veers off to the right.
What do you reckon, guys? Should we go down there and have a little break?
Yes, definitely no. I mean, maybe not a little one. 44 minutes is not enough for it to heal. Well, not so much heal, but research.
Oh yeah, I just don't think right here is a good idea because we've got 2 passageways in, a doorway plus a hole in the roof.
Agreed. Yes, we need to barricade ourselves off somewhat.
Yeah, so maybe go down the hallway, see if we can find a room that's like a better location.
What about the door that's behind us? Shall we have a little look through it?
I don't know if that's a great idea. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not liking that idea.
Fiela's keeping an eye out for eggs.
Inari, I feel like you're addicted to chaos if wanting to open that door.
No, I'm actually really contemplating that's probably not going to help for a short rest if I cast Rope Trick and let everybody go up there for an hour.
Remind me what Rope Trick does?
You touch a length of rope up to 60 feet long on one end of the rope, then rise into the air until the whole rope hangs perpendicular to the ground at the upper end of the rope. An invisible entrance opens to an extra dimensional space. That lasts until the spell ends. The extra dimensional space can be reached by climbing to the top of the rope. The space can hold as many as 8 medium or smaller creatures. The rope can be pulled into the space, making the rope disappear from view outside the space. Attacks and
How
spells
long does
can't
it
cross through
last?
the entrance an hour.
A
So it's
tree
still-
house.
So essentially, what it gives you is it gives you a interdimensional space to hide in for an hour, so you'd be able to short rest in that time. But that'd be it. After that hour, if you're not out of it, it will turf you out and throw you 60 feet down to the ground. You will not be able to cast it in here because the ceiling is only 25 feet.
Well, that's not going to work.
At the same time, that would be good if we needed a short rest. We actually need to take a
long rest.
decent.
Rope trick's an awesome spell.
Yeah, agreed.
It is an awesome
Agreed.
spell,
No,
just
it's
with the right situation.
And the right height and the roof.
I will acknowledge your follows very shortly, guys. Just give us a few minutes. We're actually getting towards the end of the show, but I'm going to hang around for a bit and do a bit of a just chatting at the end of the show. So hang around if you've got any questions, and I'll acknowledge all your follows very, very shortly.
This plate.
What are you guys going to do? You've got several options. You can go back the way you came, potentially looking for a room, or you can carry on down the opposite corridor, or you have a door.
Go check down that opposite corridor, see where that goes.
Okay, so you've got what you can initially see is you've got 10 feet, and then it veers off to your right on a reasonably sharp diagonal. Are you going to go check that hallway?
Yeah.
So who's leading the leading this? Again, it's a 10-foot wide corridor, so you kind of have to go sort of single file.
Checking for traps.
Check for traps. So as you turn that initial turn, you see another. I'm assuming you guys have got light up again, hit or
yeah, I haven't dispelled
Yes.
my
okay, you
one.
still got your sword.
He stays to the back with his light up as well.
Okay, so as you turn, you Alessandros, you see another 40 or 50 feet of straight corridor, and then it turns to the right again. I'll get you to roll investigation for that first portion of corridor.
Yeah, there's no traps here. None at all.
What did you roll?
9.
9. As far as you know, there's no traps. So you proceed forward. You get to the right turn, and what you see is another 40 so feet of corridor leading into a round room. Can I get you to roll another investigation tip for that next part of corridor, please?
10.
10. Again, as far as you know, there's no traps. Do you guys proceed forward?
Yep.
Proceed forward, and you
Go for it.
don't set any traps off in the corridor. You come back, but the round room that you've now come back to, you find yourself in the same round room you entered into this space, marked by hits, wax markers for the arcane traps that you found earlier. You now are in a room which has 4 corridors. The corridor you just came into. Directly across from you is the stairwell that you took to go down. To the left of you is the corridor you came into the catacombs from. And then to your right is a new corridor.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I guess should we rest here in the middle of a intersection?
I was thinking we go back into the hallway and rest within the hallway itself, because then we only have to look 2 directions.
This is true.
Yes, that seems wiser.
So back into the hallway you just came from?
Yep.
Yeah, go pretty much back towards that room that had the big doors.
Okay.
But in the hallway around that corner, kind of.
Cool.
Oh, actually, at that corner where it
At
turns
that
to the
corner?
right.
No
Yeah.
problem. So you head back down that same corridor. You head back towards the room with the tombs in it, and you get to the little crook, that corner, and you can sort of see into that room. You can see down the corridor that you just come from, and you guys set up some form of camp. We will resolve watches and all that sort of stuff next session. We're going to call it there, guys. Bang on our finish time, 10:30. So Awesome gameplay again tonight, guys. That was amazing. Well done. We're just going to do some XP, and then we're going to acknowledge some chat stuff. For those that need to go, you guys can take off. I'm going to stay just chatting for a bit. XP first. We will go... Let's have a look here. So, we're going to go... Let's go... 2,500 XP each tonight. Exploration, the awesome RP from the players tonight, and again, well done with the combat, focusing down one target. I think if you guys had tried to separate targets, it would have gone a whole lot worse than what it did. So you guys did really well with that.
Another 450, please.
Yeah, right? Just a little
Are
bit.
you guys that close to leveling up?
Yeah,
Seriously?
450.
450 to level up? What do you reckon, chat? Do you reckon we should give them a level?
For all the references, we should get a 450.
Also, too, just to reiterate that, we had a little bit of a competition running tonight. If you, on Tuesday afternoon, New Zealand time, if you go to my YouTube, !YT in the chat, if you go to my YouTube link and watch the VOD from tonight's show and count the amount of Megadeth song references that were in tonight's show, and DM me what you think that number is in my Discord. So again, !Discord in the chat will give you that link. DM me in the Discord and tell me how many of those references that you counted. The person that gets the closest will get a free Steam game. Just a random Steam game. I've got a bunch of Steam codes to give away. So if you can tell me what that is, and the first person to DM me that number, or the closest person to DM me that number, will the winner will be announced next week on the D&D show, and I'll DM them in the Discord. So, so chat, what do you guys reckon? Should we give the team the extra XP they need to level? This will boost them to level 8. Well, your vote doesn't count, Nutty. Let them divide 1,000 XP between all of them. That doesn't quite get them there either. You'll do dishes all week. Well, you're gonna do dishes all week anyway. Now that you've said it, reduce XP by 50 XP for daring too. We've got a few yeses in here. How about, okay, guys? We're gonna do a mix of XP and what's the milestone from now on in the show anyway. So we'll call it there. So level 8, guys. Give yourselves level 8. We will get you guys to roll your HP at the beginning of the next show. So don't do that straight away. We'll do it right at the beginning of the next show, so we can adjust that on the show for the chat. Obviously, if you're going to multi-class. If you're going to get new spells, all those bits and pieces, and we'll do that next session. So, chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you again for those that followed. I'm going to hang around for a bit, just to do a bit of a just chatting. For those players that do need to go, thank you again for hanging out with us for another Sunday, playing some Dungeons & Dragons. Episode 29, the Carrion Crypts. Next Sunday night, starting 7:30 PM New Zealand Standard Time, we'll be doing episode 30, the Carrion Crypts Part 2, because we're not finished here yet. Followers tonight, we had the raid from Friendly here. Thank you so much for the raid. Awesome. Fellow Kiwi from what I understand. Lady Cat, Daunts, Z-King, and Majestic Targo. Thank you for the follows. Appreciate it very, very much. Glad you guys could stop by and hang out with us and see even catching the tail end of the show. There's your shout out. Awesome. So yeah. So any questions, guys? Fire away. Now's the time to ask. Hit, do you need to go, or are you good for a few minutes?
I'm good for 5 or 10.
Great. So chat.
Just a question.
Yes.
So I've reached 3rd level in fighter multi-class.
Yes.
Do I get to choose a archetype or no?
I think at 3rd level you do.
Well, it says I do, but because I already have an archetype with my rogue, do I still get the?
Yep. It'll say it in your when you go to your fighter.
No, that's cool then. Just making sure.
Because what it does is with your archetype for your fighter, that's specific for your fighter class, so it won't affect your rogue class. So when you multi-class, each class is still separated, even though it's in the one character. So if you wanted to go a fighter archetype of ranger, like archery, for example, to boost your ranged attacks, you can. Or if you wanted to go 2-weapon fighting to give you that extra bonus for your bonus action offhand, you can. So there is ways around it. So what is furry? I have no idea what a furry is.
Avery is
It's a druid, isn't it?
I know what a furry is.
A furry is a kind of a druid, I think.
No.
Quick question. How does a warlock spells work? This is actually a really good question, and I can answer it because I play a warlock in another campaign. Warlock spells are very, very simple. You've got several different types of warlock. You've got Pact of the Fiend. You've got Pact of the Fiend, which uses Old Dark One, so you can get your spells from a demon or a god or a deity, or you can get them from an older entity. But essentially, most warlocks have they have pack slots instead of spell slots, and they don't get very many because they're a cantrip specialist. Basically, most of the spells are cantrips, which they're instant cast. Eldritch Blast being the most common one. You do get a whole bunch of other stuff too later on, depending on what you've gone. Pact of the Fiend, for instance. Pact of the Blade I've not tried, but I know on Critical Role, Ford's character is a Pact of the Blade Warlock, and it is pretty cool. But essentially they're a necromantic type class. Yeah, 2 slots at level 5, exactly. But you can have a lot of fun with those 2 slots at level 5. But if you multi-class with another class, you get the bonus slots from that other class too, so bear in mind that multi-classing a warlock is generally a really good idea, especially like warlock sorcerer, warlock druid, warlock bard. If you can cross those, blood hunter as well is another good one. If you can cross those classes, you get some pretty cool shit. Life in the Axis, thank you for the follow as well. Saw that come up, thank you. Or warlock bard cleric in Het's case. As you can tell, Het is multi-classing, which gives them a whole bunch of crap. It's kind of hard to keep track of. You're trying a warlock rogue, first 5-year character? Nice. Interesting class.
That would be an interesting mix.
Yeah. What type of rogue though? Are you going arcane trickster or something else? Yes. Again, just to give you guys a little bit of background about myself, my name's Evldoa. I'm from New Zealand. Het / Orbasm in the chat is my younger brother. Both he and I have been playing D&D for a lot of years. Baz has been my DM a number of times. This is my first time DMing a full campaign. I've done some one-shots over the years and things like that, but I've never actually fully DM'd a campaign on my own. So I chose to do it online on my Twitch channel. So it's a full homebrew campaign. The world's created by myself, and the players have helped with their characters and backstories and that to shape the world as well. It's a lot of fun. We've got Het and Inari, aka Nutty, which are from New Zealand as well. And then we have Alessandros, Fiala, and Sadiq, who are all from Australia.
Well, America, but yeah.
Well, you live in Australia, woman. Come on.
She got imported.
I don't claim it.
Whiskey, how are you enjoying DM? I'm loving it, dude. Like, I really enjoy playing D&E, but I do like to DM. I don't know. I mean, I'm using the feedback of the players and the feedback of the viewers to determine whether I'm doing any good. But I'm enjoying it. The players seem to be enjoying the content, the story so far. As you've just heard, we've just hit level 8 with the characters. We've had a pretty serious plot twist with the campaign thus far. I don't want to give any spoilers away for those if you want to catch up on the VODs. All the VODs are available on the YouTube. But we've had a pretty interesting plot twist to the story, which has actually removed one of our main characters from the group and replaced it with another one. So that was kind of cool. So yeah. So like I'm just thoroughly enjoying it. Like I said, Baz DM's another campaign, an ongoing campaign, which has been going for well over a year now, which I play in, and I do play a warlock in his campaign. Nutty also plays a sorcerer in that campaign. Are you giving TP rolls as loot? We just had an outhouse to search. Wow, I don't think we've had an outhouse to search. I don't think there's any toilet paper in my realm. I think they have to use leaves.
It's been a dungeon.
How strong is a level 15 warlock? A level 15 warlock done right with the right gear could be as strong as a level 15 sorcerer, easily. Dude, I mean, any level 15 character, regardless of multi-classing or anything like that, is going to be a strong character. I mean, I intend on running this campaign to around level 15. I don't think we need to go any higher than level 15. You get some pretty powerful spells at that level. And it means less work for me, kind of, because once you get characters past level 15 in 5e, it's kind of hard to make up really challenging encounters without really creating your own creatures or messing with stats on existing creatures. Because even at level 15, a challenge rating 20 or 25 creature with a party of 5 level 15s isn't really much of a challenge. Baz does not stream. We do tabletop with Baz, so it's a live game. We have 6 core players at that game, so it's around the table, traditional D&D. Yeah, definitely. Level 20 is where things start to break seriously. But anything after level 15 is where you start seeing some pretty powerful spells. The wish spell, a lot of those 9th level spells are pretty OP. You ran a campaign today and your level 15 tiefling bard banished your mithril dragon to another dimension. Homebrewed. Yeah, and that's the thing. I love homebrew, so it's awesome. I had a loophole, and with the character I made, we were allowed to have 1 common magic item, but I had no armor, so I chose Breastplate of Gleaming. Nice. Yeah, 15 and up, that's why I chose to go max 15, because then the encounters that I've pretty much come up with for sort of in-game stuff is really cool. So, is Who a Vampire? Do I stream other games? I do gaming streams during the week. So I do stream 5 nights a week, Whiskey. Monday to Friday doing gaming usually. And then every Sunday is D&D. 5e Daunts. And it's also homebrew. Yes, after this campaign...
Baz really likes to talk in the third person, by the way.
He does. Yes, he does. After this campaign is complete...
I don't know why, it's just what I do. It's so people, I don't know.
We are, as Yanti said in the chat there, we are considering doing a Vampire the Masquerade on stream, which Baz will be DMing for us. So Baz will actually be streaming at some stage, potentially. Whether it's on my channel or we set up a channel for himself, I'm not sure yet. We're still in the early stages of potentially looking at the logistics of it. So,
does that mean we go down there for an evening?
No, we can do it from home. If we set it up correctly, Baz will be able to stream from his place, and we can do it here online, just like we're doing with this campaign here. No need for cameras. A lot of streamers who do D&D run cameras for all their players. The more I've been thinking about it, I kind of like the idea that we don't have cams for all the players. We have the Discord overlay which shows what players talking. I think the players all are individual enough and have an individual enough sound that the viewers know who's talking and can sort of figure it out, and it seems to be working. So
when there's not gender,
it took you guys long enough.
Yeah. I've got it as a personalised plate on my vehicle too, and I haven't been stopped once.
Really? They've never stopped you with that on your because that's on your van, eh?
Yeah, man. Nearly 10 years.
Pros and cons for cam. There is pros and cons for cams. I mean, I think if we were to do a live tabletop game here at home, I would run several cams and do it on cam. I think if I had all the players around a table, I would definitely look at cams for that. But this over Discord, we have toyed with the ideas of running cams on Discord, even just for the players. but it seems to be working. With 30 episodes in now. Next week's episode's episode 30, so we're practically almost 5-6 months into the game, and we've not run a cam, and our viewer numbers are growing every week. So we must be doing something right. You personally think if you're not in the same room, no cam is good? It depends. Everyone's a little bit different. Cams can help with over talking, but we've found with this group, most people, if they start talking, it feels like they're talking over someone will stop and they'll sort of give way to each other. A lot of the times during sort of set RP pieces like camping and stuff like that, I'll go through each player asking what they want to do, so it creates less over talking, things like that. So there's definitely ways around it.
And cam lag sucks too. You can be talking in real time, and then you're watching another person in cam not talking. It just gets a little awkward. Even now, even just with the vocally, it's a little awkward.
Yeah, there are obviously pros and cons, but we seem to get around it. So, can we get like elevator pitches from the players about their characters? What do you mean by elevator pitches?
For example, Inari.
like a short-term background, like a short-term background.
Oh yeah, we can. If the characters want to go through and give a brief background on their character, they can. We'll start with Alessandras.
Thanks.
But you're at the top of the list.
I know. Well, I'm a changeling, rogue, changeling, with a specialization in shadow dancing, and now just working out the specialization for fighter. I'm a sneaky bastard.
Yeah. So essentially, I'll probably easier if I do it with Alessandros. Trashy's a little bit weird about these sort of things, but Alessandros, like I said, is a changeling rogue. Simple background that's been revealed so far about the character is that she is now a boy. She's changed into a boy through the fact that she was wanted for murder, and they knew her.
It wasn't my fault.
They knew her original form, so she's had to change forms to avert this murder charge, which is eventually being dropped. So she's now taken on the form of a boy. That's why we call her because she is a female changeling. But if you look at the picture at Alessandros, it is actually a guy. That's the reason for that right now, which is a lot of fun. The character's been pretty awesome. She's also joined the Thieves Guild recently, and has a particular contract which could potentially have negative context within the group. So there's been a little bit of playing backwards and forwards with that. Fiela, would you like to describe your character and your basic background to this point?
Tell them what I did last summer? Sure.
Pretty much.
I am a wood elf druid. I am full of lots of little storylines and secrets. I'm a Circle of Moon druid, which specializes in wild shapes. And I have a special mentor that dealt with dragons, so I get a little bit of a homebrew spells with dragons.
So Fiala has got a homebrewed cloak, which we created for her, which enables her to call to her aid a young silver dragon, which is actually pretty cool. She's used it once already, which worked out pretty well. But as she said, she's a wood elf. Basic story background is that these guys have joined the Black Lion Adventurers Guild. It's the only legal way to adventure in the world of Paradigm. If you're not in part of this guild, then it is illegal to be out adventuring and doing contracts and things like that. Essentially what has happened is a prophecy has begun where a ancient red dragon had been banished to the Nine Hells and is now trying to open a permanent portal from the Nine Hells to the material plane. And these guys are on the path to try and thwart that plan. They've dealt with Asmodeus, the Prince of Hell. They've dealt with an elder vampire. Not dealt with specifically. They've had dealings with them. They've met these characters. They've lost a companion along the way. And so that's roughly where the story's at the moment. They're now in search of some particular magical items to help them with this potential threat towards the end of the game. Het, before you have to disappear.
Yes, Het is a dragonborn. He started out as a bard. His mother was a bard, and his father was a cleric, and then he delved into clericness. And then just recently he's delved into warlockness, so cleric, bard, warlock. Het is the 7th born son, white, dragonborn. His mother not being a dragonborn, but his father is. His father's also the 7th born, so Het is the 7th son of a 7th son. Het's College of Mythlorin, which is a homebrew, is more for heavy metal. He has a lute which is amplified magically and makes dark sounds. He sends off some smoke and sparks sometimes. Generally, Het is all-round metal. Het does lots of cold damage as well. That is Het.
So that was the reasoning for the aforementioned references to Megadeth tonight. Het spells take on the form of songs from Iron Maiden and / Megadeth and pretty much metal in general.
No, Het's mum was an asthma.
Yes, she was an ASMR, not a fairy. With that, Inari, your character, who's only just recently joined the
Het will
team.
have to bid everyone adieu. He has to go.
No worries, buddy.
See you next weekend.
Catch up
See you
next weekend, bro.
guys.
See you guys.
See you, bud.
Bye.
Right, so now to give you guys again a little bit of context, there was a character at the beginning of this campaign by the name of Neymaris, who was I'll let Nutty explain
Trade up.
Neymaris because it was her character before the incident. So if you would like to firstly give a brief background on Neymaris.
Well, Neymaris was a barbarian who then multi-classed to a paladin. And at some point in the last couple of 4 episodes, she decided to go with the dark god Asmodeus. Oh, sorry, the king of hell, Asmodeus.
So she's a
So
Kalistar.
she is no longer anymore.
Yeah, she was a Kalistar, barbarian / paladin, multi-class. Again, she'd been former city guardsman of Valonde, which is the main city of the realm. She also joined the Adventurers Guild to sort of broaden her horizons and had a little bit of a darkness within her, which, as far as the rest of the team is concerned, has caused her to switch sides, if you will, and join Asmodeus, the Prince of Hell. So there's that. Now we have Inari, who has just joined the crew.
Has indeed. Inari is an elf ranger, part of the Emerald Enclave, who help keep the balance between good and evil in the land. I've just started with the group, so this is essentially my first quest with them.
Yeah. So this is the first time Inari's actually entered into battle with the group on this level.
And I am a Gloomstalker elf ranger.
So again, we're using a lot of homebrew stuff. Again, if you want to check out the previous episodes, every episode from episode 1 is on my YouTube. We are 9 subs away from getting a custom URL. So if you're interested in D&D and you want to catch up on a pretty cool show, go jump onto the YouTube, hit that sub button, hit the bell. I upload every Tuesday, and check it out. Generally pretty standard. The bulk of the rules are pretty standard. We do have some homebrew rules for this campaign, which I'll go through very shortly. We'll just get Sadiq to quickly describe his character, and I'll move on to some of the other stuff.
Oh, Sadiq is a half-orc blood hunter who basically became a blood hunter after his clan got wiped out by a bunch of vampires, and now he's out for revenge. And got put into this group of riffraff and has fun with them. So
Hey.
Pretty much. So yeah, he was literally, as Sadiq said, was dropped on this group through losing his own guild party to vampires, and they've pretty much joined forces, and eventually have found out this everything seems to be tied in the story, and they're all working towards a common goal. So there's still a little bit of mistrust and standoffishness between the characters, the PCs, and they're all sort of working it out with the RP. That they get on pretty well, but there's still a little bit of stuff there, especially with Inari just joining as well, being from outside the guild and being part of the Emerald Enclave, which is a bigger faction altogether. So as far as rules are concerned, we introduced a few homebrew rules about 4 or 5 episodes ago. Actually, no, probably more than that, right at the beginning of the year. Where to make it a little bit more edgy. So what we've done is most healing potions that are bought, well, pretty much all healing potions that are bought through a vendor or bought through the guild do their maximum heals, so you don't have to roll for a healing potion. So if you get a healing potion that's a regular healing potion, instead of rolling your 2d4 plus 2, it's a straight out 10 HP. Story driven, definitely story driven, Daunts. We also introduced that when you are reduced to 0 hit points during a battle, you also gain a level of exhaustion, which you have to take a full 24 hours to gain relief from. So you can't just take a long rest of 8 hours to remove that level of exhaustion. You have to rest or do nothing but light duties for a full 24 hours. So it forces the group to spend a bit of time in RP as well, and just forces the group to think more about their combat situations. Do I head into this combat situation, or do I risk having two or 3 members with exhaustion? So they have struck it already with Inari, who had a level of exhaustion. They actually stop and camp for a day to enable her to be at full capacity to help them with a particular fight, and it definitely proved its worth, with a massive crit damage in one attack of 75 points from a ranger, which was amazing. The other homebrew rules that we have is death saving throws are not rolled by the players, they're rolled by me, the DM, and the players do not know how close to death they are. So again, it puts pressure on the healer and the rest of the group, so they do not know how close to death a particular PC really is. And I do a similar, yes please, revivify to what Critical Role does. So instead of, like, you can cast it in combat, right? But what happens is, depending on how intense that combat is, the spell casting itself may fail. You might be distracted. You don't lose the components, but the spell fails. So then it has to be cast as a ritual, which you need help to cast. So you need at least 2 other people to enter into that ritual to help plead to have that soul come back to the body. So that again creates another moment of roleplay, which ties the characters a little bit closer together, and I just think this makes things a little bit more interesting and a little bit more intense. The players agreed to it, to trial it out and see how it's worked. It hasn't worked out too bad so far. Luckily, we haven't had to use the Revivify rule yet, because no one has actually died, touch wood. 30 episodes in, and we've not had an actual death. We've had plenty of unconscious players, but no deaths thus far.
Bloody close to it a couple of times too.
Yeah, oh, definitely. We've come extremely close on a couple of occasions. So that's pretty much the players, and that's our basic rules. Everything else is sort of fly by the seat of your pants, decisions made at the time. If I make a ruling on a particular thing, we stick with that ruling for the rest of the game, i.e. health potions. I am okay with people using a health potion as a bonus action. I'm okay with people swapping weapons out as part of their movement, dependent on the situation and the combat and what's happening in the combat itself, so that becomes very situational. A lot of the rules are ruled on the situation itself. You've been playing a level 6 cap game, no way to reverse death, and yeah, oh hell yeah, that'd be crazy. Capping at level 6, no revivify, nuts. But so, like I said, we use D&D Beyond. This is not sponsored by D&D Beyond in any way, shape or form, but I love the website. I'm subscribed to it. I run everything through D&D Beyond. We do all our homebrew content through them. I'm using the new encounter tracker they've got. and initiative tracker, which is amazing. They're adding new stuff to it all the time, and it definitely helps me with what I do. I also collect and paint minis, as you guys have probably seen on the table, that we use a battle map with miniatures. So if you join the Discord, you'll possibly get some pictures in there. But if you follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, I throw pictures up of the minis up there. We do some D&D mini painting on occasion on stream as well. The book sharing, yeah, exactly. Majestic. I own pretty much most of the source books, so I share that with all the players. So that gives them the ability to do what they want with their characters, especially with the homebrew campaign as well. There's been a lot of homebrew spells made and homebrew items made between the players and myself, and it's all worked out pretty good so far. The next campaign we do is going to be completely by the book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a module. I've decided I'm going to pick one of the modules, whether it's Ghost of Saltmarsh, Dungeon of Mad Mage, or Curse of Strahd, or any of those modules. I'm going to tweak them a little bit, but everything will be done from the source book, so there'll be no homebrew content. But there'll be some minor tweaks to the story to adjust for level, probably. But that generally is a level 1 to 10 game. I'm probably going to boost it to sort of out to level 12-ish, so I'll just boost some of the monsters' HP and stat blocks to accommodate. But I quite like the Castle Ravenloft content, so it ties in with my obsession with horror and metal and everything else too. So I'm definitely having a lot of fun with that. But like I said, I've just painted the Carrion crawlers for tonight, so we just finished that this week. I think if I go bring this up, I should be able to bring this up over here. If we bring up our Discord. So I just finished this guy this week as well. So we got the Umber Hulk there. And as I said, we did Carrion crawlers as well. So I did three Carrion crawlers and 3 Umber Hulks painted up this week. And I can show you guys some other cool stuff. Gotta bring up the right folder. We'll go through a list here. There's the crawlers. There's a Drow priestess, which I did the other week. Front and back. There's the crawlers again. Umber Hulk. 3 of them. We interesting fellas. They'll be interesting when the crew come across them. D&D tables. That's the tabletop game that we run at Baz's place. A few photos from that. That was one of our first encounters in that game, if I remember correctly. That is this is how Baz does his battle maps. He's a very good artist and likes to draw stuff.
Fuck.
Oh, that's nothing. That's an early one. Going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
See you in the morning.
So that's an early one. You should see what he's drawn up recently. It's crazy. So that's that. He uses dungeon tiles on occasion as well. So he's got a whole bunch of dungeon tiles that we use on occasion, which saves a lot of drawing. Oh, get to right photo. That is a Hero Forge mini of my rogue, which also is in that other campaign who died. But that's the Hero Forge mini that I got for that campaign. Again, all these minis are hand painted by myself. A gargoyle. Through that, this is that was an Asimar Paladin. That was just the wings that I did. A friend of mine had an Asimar Paladin that was part Oathbreaker Paladin, part not Oathbreaker. So he had a dual personality, so he wanted the wings to go from white to black. So I did that up for him for his wedding present. That is Nutty's character from the other campaign, which is a purple tiefling sorcerer. That's the finished paladin. His golden shield. Another tiefling sorcerer, which was the opposite model, because a lot of these models you get two in a pack. So I sort of do one up as a hero, one as a bad guy generally. A wolf, just a basic wolf. Some other bits and pieces we picked up. Oh look, puppy dog. What's he doing in the D&D minis? That's my puppy. That's the poor bloke that's sick right now. Yeah, I mean, I decided to run the battle map and do the miniatures, even though we were playing online, because I can do it on stream and the players can see the map on stream. I got these. These aren't actual miniatures. I just picked these up from Toy World, and left them as they are for giant constrictor, giant snake, and a giant spider. More D&D. Here we go. Some zombies and skeletons. The original heroes. Neymaris, Alessandrus, Azalan, and Gillian. Het wasn't in that one, but he was definitely there somewhere. A green hag. That must count as a colossal dog. Yeah, definitely a colossal for sure. The beholder. When I first started painting it, I took a few photos in stages to go through the painting, the different layers, and then obviously the finished product, which turned out exceptionally well. I was well pleased with the finished product. Bit of a clearer photo there. Eventually I painted gloss over the tentacle eyes and the big eye and around the teeth and that to give it a bit more of a gooey feeling. But that's the beholder, mimic, chest mimic. The early players come across that thing, and the ranger that we had in the beginning of the campaign almost died.
Stupid ranger.
Almost had his arm ripped off by the mimic. Barrel mimic. Oh, dog again. And there's Het's mini. A white dragonborn. One of the first maps. Again, found some little green dragons, which I ended up painting up in the different colours. We started at level 1. We certainly did. Umberhawks. So there, to give you an idea, there's some of the minis that I have on a shelf. And I've added to that since then. We've got a gelatinous cube in there. We've got some orcs, some ogres. Beholder again. Demons. I got heaps. Black Dragon. That one I quite liked too. That was kind of cool. It turned out really well. We got just a chest with some scrolls and bits and pieces on it. Oh crap. But yeah, so I got those. I got a bunch of stuff here. But if we go back to main scene and drop that down, go back to that. You see behind me here is 2 shelves worth of the bigger minis. So up there we've got dragons. We've got red dragon, white dragon, black dragon, a Draco Lich. We've got Asmodeus, the King of Hell, which we painted on stream. So just to give you guys a bit of a look-see at him. He turned out really well. Well pleased with that paint job. But yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at. So started at level 1. We're now, I think everyone with that generous chat now at level 8.
I can fly now.
That's right. You can have flight form. Awesome. I have a giant eagle waiting in the wings for that.
Yeah.
That means more minis for me. I've got to find more flying minis now. God damn it.
Aw, it's gonna be rough.
That's a good. I can use a giant eagle to represent every flying creature you have. Like, oh, well, I'm a giant bat. No, you're a giant eagle. That's what it looks like. It looks like this is a giant eagle that looks like a bat. Okay. But no, I will eventually get there. But I enjoy painting minis. I got plenty of time to do it. Stay-at-home dad, stream full time, so thoroughly enjoy it. But I think with that, I think we will probably call the stream there. I think we've had a great chat with some awesome new people. Whiskey Mario with a follow as well. Shade Mage, thank you guys, appreciate it. Everyone else that followed tonight, appreciate the follows very, very much. Again, if you are interested in catching up with the show and potentially going to come back and see us next week, the VODs are all available on the YouTube. So !YouTube in the chat will give you the link. Join the Discord. We've got a good community Discord with the Bowl Community Discord, which is an alternative lifestyle Discord. There's a lot of metalheads and alternative lifestylers in there. Whether it's metal, it doesn't really matter what you're into. If you just like hanging out with down to earth people, definitely join the Discord and hang out in there. Announcements obviously on my Twitter for when we go live. Check out the Instagram as well. I do post pictures of the minis on Twitter and on Instagram when we do some mini painting. But yeah, again, I will be back on Monday night with some gaming. This week, I'm going to be doing Modern Warfare Warzone all week. So if you have Modern Warfare, which you should, because it's free, the Warzone, the BR is absolutely free. You don't have to have the base game to play Warzone. So I'm looking for 2 squad mates for the week to play some Warzone Battle Royale and see if we can get some chicken dinners on that. It's a lot of fun. It's got a cool feature that if you die the first time, you get basically taken prisoner, chucked in a gulag, and you got a 1v1 fight someone to regain your spot back in the BR. Then if you die the second time, you can be brought back with basically purchase stations on the field. So if you collect money throughout the BR as well, $4,500, you can buy your teammate back. So you essentially get 2 lives, or 3 lives technically. So it's a lot of fun. So we're doing that all week. We will be doing some World of Warcraft as well potentially, but for the most part it'll be Warzone. So until tomorrow evening, have a great night, everyone. Friendly here, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. I love the support from you guys. I love you guys' community. You guys are awesome. Coming, dropping the follows and hanging out, supporting the D&D, and keeping D&D alive. We'll see you on Monday, guys.